Howdy, hello, good evening, good afternoon. I've just realised actually I haven't even started my game up yet. What's going on? What's the world coming to? Just bear with me. There we go. There we go. There we go. Let's just hit that button there. Let's hit that button. How are you all? Good evening, good afternoon. My hat's gone on a little bit. There we go. A little bit spiky there. Boop-a-doo. Okay. And game. There we are. Good. Hello. Good afternoon. It's been, 2 weeks since I last streamed. 2 weeks. I know. Slacking. Loads to do. Been streaming a lot for the job as well. So, the hat's going on. What's going on with the hat? So yeah, here we are. A bit of LOTRO this fine Sunday afternoon. I hope you're all well. It's a bit bright. I know I'm complaining here, but there's some serious sunlight streaming through this side here, so I'm kind of blocking it off with the blind. So they released the FAQ in general shape of the upcoming 64-bit server move. I had a little time to kind of dive into it, to kind of look at it, digest it, understand it. Still a few kind of things that are a little bit out there that people maybe going to be a bit confused about. Here we are on the webpage, by the way. So if you haven't seen it already, you might want to check it out. There we go. Just sticking that into the chat. So yeah, it's an interesting basically breakdown of what's going to happen, not necessarily when, because they haven't released any dates, but also they giving you kind of details about how things will happen, which we'll kind of go through. Kind of there's one more in-depth kind of breakdown here at the top, and then at the bottom, as we scroll, it literally is an FAQ as such there. But we'll look at all the stuff, because some of it will be relative to everyone. Not everything will be relative to everyone, though. So, yeah, so we are not ready to announce the release date of the transfers for these new game worlds, but we want to share this information with you as soon as possible to assist you in your preparations. We knew this was kind of coming. We knew it was something that needed to be out there. I think I said in excuse me, my last stream that people would be wanting to know what is actually happening, what is going on in advance of the move. And, there's a lot to kind of prepare for. I've done a little bit just for my characters, or character specifically, to help facilitate that move, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So, The Lord of the Rings is excited to announce 4 new 64-bit servers which will debut on coming soon. 2 of these servers are based in the United States and 2 of these are based in Europe, with the inclusion of our existing 64-bit VIP access servers called Angmar and Mordor. We will now have 6 64-bit worlds to give you the fastest and best in-game experience possible. Now, bearing in mind that is all down to how the game server runs. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden your lag and your latency is all going to disappear, because that's still endemic to the game engine. We've discussed this many times, and I'm not going to beat myself against a brick wall repeating it, but it will definitely help. How you doing, Yavanna? So there's kind of plenty to come. We intend to keep our existing 32-bit game worlds open in the future, but we hope and expect many players will want to transfer to these new worlds. So we are announcing a free transfer plan to allow players on 32-bit North American worlds to transfer to our new 64-bit North American worlds, and players on our 32-bit... Oh, hello.
Oh, viewers of plenty. Oh, viewers of plenty. Whoa.
There you go. That's the way, throwing in the sub, my sub to myself. Marvelous. So players on our 32-bit European servers 32-bit worlds to transfer to our new 64-bit European worlds. So here's the kind of breakdown of the details. Now, obviously, you can see on there it says start date, because they haven't finalized it, so they can't give an absolute perfect date on that. So yeah, we're going to have to wait and see on that one. So yeah, you got a new badge, have you? A new badge. Right. Okay, you might need to just refresh the page then for it to pick up. So I think it's your like a superstar one or something, or it might be. I'm not entirely sure. Might be a purple thing. Let's have a look. What does it show? That shows you're a VIP. Oh yeah, you're a 5-year superstar. That's what it is. So yeah, start state A, start state B, and start state C and D. Obviously, it's just because there isn't a date. So if we do see date, literally in the in here, we're going to put those dates in at the end. So interesting, right? So start day A. So this is going to be the first day for anybody who is a VIP. So the subscribers will be able to log into the game world to access the character creation screen on their destination world and secure up to 3 names per 64-bit world of their choice. So I'm going to reference me as my journey because this is the one that's going to be relative to me. So on the opening day of Orcrist being open, which is going to be the European world that we're going to transfer to, I will be able to, as a VIP subscriber, go onto that server and secure up to 3 names. Okay, so that is 3. Now, bearing in mind that you aren't guaranteed to get your name, it's kind of a bit of a free-for-all. So unfortunately, it's tough doo-doo, really, for a lot of people, unless you are somebody who's got a specific name that is maybe, you know, you're trying to claim something that you've never, ever used ever before. So for me, obviously, it's going to be 3 of my characters that I'm going to want to move kind of first, or guarantee the chance to get that name. So if your Hobbit was called Frodo Doodle, for example, and you want to guarantee that you get that name, or to give yourself the best chance to get that name, you're going to want to get onto the new servers as quick as possible to create that character. Anybody who's coming in from another server that's going to join that server that also has Frodo Doodle is going to possibly struggle if they're behind you, for example. But you've got to remember there are going to be issues, and people, I will guarantee now, we're going to see it in the chat, in the forums, that I came onto this server, I've had this name for 15 years, and I didn't get the name. What the F is going on? Then the person with the name is saying, I've been playing the game for 15 years, but I was on Laurelin, for example, or I was on so-and-so, and I have just as much right to that name as you do. Now, they aren't going to entertain any disputes along those lines, from my understanding. The only time that they will intervene in any kind of granular way is that if somebody seems to be trying to steal a name which they've never used before. So some of the big streamers of LOTRO may have a character that's quite well known, and somebody comes along and tries to nab it. They may intervene then. But for generally purposes, Frodo Doodle, for example, is going to be available for anybody and everybody. So if you do want to get that name, not necessarily Frodo Doodle, that's just obviously an example. Frodoodle, that would be a good name. Frodoodle. It's got Frodo in it, and it's also a doodle. So Frodo, or it could be Frodo Doodle. Sounds better. I might have to make a player name that, Frodo Doodle. So if you do want to grab that name, then you need to log in basically as a VIP on that first day to give yourself the best chance. VIPs will not be able to log into the game world to play. Okay, so this is very, very important. You are literally going to be just logging on to the character creation. After that, you can't play on the server. Not for that day. It's not going to be available. You're not going to be able to go, hey... Frodo Doodle. See, Melon just walks in and goes, Frodo Doodle. It's just a, to be fair, it's just a name I made up in case somebody we're talking about name reservations for when the servers open, the new servers. I didn't keep. So if you were going to log in, create up to 3 basically new characters, that is as many as you're going to be able to do on that day. Again, there's going to be disappointment, and you're kind of going to have to deal with it, unfortunately. It's a known thing. They can't help it. If you are merging a lot of people into one server, how do you get around it? How do you mitigate that? And it's very, very difficult. You can't, because everybody has a right to that name. You know, somebody that's been playing the game for 10 years or whatever just has as much right for their character to be called the same name as yours just because they're on a different server. So it's going to be difficult, and some people are going to miss out. But at the end of the day, it's just a character name. You're not losing your character. But I appreciate some people are very attached to it, but it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. From my point of view, anyway. So you won't be able to play. You will neither be able to start transferring your existing characters, but they can create characters with the desired names and then later rename their transferred character to their preferred name after deleting the placeholder character. So I'm going to go on there. I'm going to create a character called Frodo Doodle. And then eventually, when the transfer is allowed to happen, I'm going to get Frodo Doodle from Evernight, transfer him across, and then he's going to become Frodo Doodle -1, because it's obviously appending to the name of a -1. What I would then need to do is my new Frodo Doodle character, who is the one I've just created on Orcrist. I would need to delete him, her, it, whatever. So you get rid of that character. All of a sudden, now you can get rid of the -1 off your transferred character, because the transferred character would become your Frodo Doodle again. So it sounds complex, and it's not really. It really isn't. You're just reserving that name, and basically you're holding that character. You're creating that character initially as a placeholder, basically a name holder. And then eventually, when the real Frodo Doodle walks in, as in transfers to that server, you then need to say to the fake Frodo Doodle, who basically has just been there holding a placard saying, I'm called Frodo Doodle, you need to then delete him, get rid of him, and then your original long-term Frodo Doodle that you've moved in from Evernight, for example, you then just become Frodo Doodle. Okay, you might need to change the name, but everybody will have a free name change, so that's fine. But the name is available. It's basically you're just placeholding and you're grabbing that name before anybody else. And because you control that character, you know that you can basically just delete that character and then take that name. You could be very, very unlucky and somebody create that name in that split second. Wonder if they'll have a cost to renaming characters. How you doing, Kerr? I believe not. I believe that you're going to have the ability just to rename it, so there's no cost. There's no cost whatsoever. Anyway, after that's happened, so that is obviously day 1 of the whole kind of servers opening. Day 2, free transfers from 32-bit to 64-bit worlds will be available to all players. Okay, so that is everyone. The new game worlds themselves will remain closed, but the transfer tool will be enabled to allow transfers to these worlds. So on day 2, this is where everybody who is planning to transfer a character from Evernight to Orcrist will be able to go transfer. And that is where your character will free, and this is going to be free, be taken off Evernight, transplanted onto Orcrist. It usually happens very, very quickly. If you've ever played on Bullroarer, which is the private test server, or the beta server, that gives you the ability to transfer or basically duplicate a character. And it happens very, very quickly. Now, this is a permanent kind of move initially, whereas with Bullroarer, you are just copying your character. Whereas this is literally you are uprooting, plonking into another server. That's how it's going to work. So that's going to be available for everyone. How you doing, Lou? Good evening, good afternoon, my dear. How are you? So that's going to happen on day 2. So if you are there for day 1 with it, being able to create your name, your character placeholder, character thing, you might not get it on the following day. Then we obviously transfer in on day 2. Again, we can't play on the worlds. It literally is just to enable the transfer. So if you're wanting to play on Evernight on that day on any of your characters, once you start the transfer, you cannot play on that character because it kind of locks it down. So you don't want to be doing that, to be fair. So you kind of want to plan on that transfer day not to play, unless you play on one of your other servers, such as, you know, Mod or etc., which isn't affected by this by any stretch. Day 3 of the move. Our new game worlds open. Okay, so this is when the servers literally open up for everybody. Free transfers from 32-bit to 64-bit game worlds will continue through August the 31st. So pretty much, if we take... See, I think they've got this date pinned down already. So I think, obviously, it's going to be coming in February sometime, and then they're going to say, right, 6 months and a little bit to the end of August, that is where your free transfers are going to happen. So I think within the next couple of weeks, this will start to happen. Plus, I haven't played, but I know that the some of the servers have been up and down, and I know Evernight's been quite distinctly affected recently. But, you know, we'll kind of get into that in a bit as well. So free transfers between the new 64-bit worlds will operate on a rotating weekly basis and continue through X date. Okay, there's no date specifically set for that, so it'll happen. Now, they do go into that a little bit further on, but it is a rotating basis. So in the 4th day, so the first day we reserve the names, the 2nd day you can start your transfers, the 3rd day the game worlds open. On the 4th day, we're working to allow for free transfers from many previously closed game worlds to these new 64-bit worlds. We'll have more information on the timing for these closed world transfers in the future. We will likely open transfers to a few game worlds at a time over a period of time and leave transfers from these worlds open until a later announced date. After this final transfer period, these previously closed worlds will be permanently closed and no future character transfers will be possible. So that basically means, and I'll scroll down to the bottom because there is a list. What they mean by previously closed worlds is these dark worlds here. Okay, so Dwaro, Delph, Anduin, Elendilmir, Firefoot, Eldar, etc. So you can see them all kind of here. That is what they mean about the previously dark worlds. That you can see that they're listed here as well. So that is what they're looking to do on day 4. But they're not all going to be open at the same time. There is going to be a kind of set list of seemingly when they will open and how long they will open for. So that is day 4. Now, I don't think I have any characters on those servers whatsoever that I'm aware of, so I don't think that would affect me. Although I do suspect there's going to be quite a few people who do actually have a few characters on there, and maybe, you know, quite rightly for several years. I think it's about 10 years ago, was it, when they did the server merges and closed things down, at least. I think it was 2015. That there's going to be a lot of people that will be like, wow, I've got this character and I'm going to transfer it. So it'll be interesting to see. That's right. What do we need to know about these 64-bit worlds? Okay, we are opening 2 regular game worlds and 2 roleplay focus worlds in North America and Europe. These are Glamdring, which is the North American standard server, Peregrine, which is the North America RP server, Orchrist, which obviously I mentioned about, is the EU normal server, and then Meriadoc, which is the RP equivalent. Grab my game, just give it a quick wiggle, said the actress to the bishop. Come on, game. Right. Our roleplay designated worlds are meant to give guidance to fellow roleplayers as they consider their destination world. We do not enforce roleplaying appropriate naming nor require players on the server to roleplay. Anyone can play on these worlds, similar to how things are now on Landraval and Laurelin. So if you were interested in doing any kind of RP, then you might want to look at Meriadoc if you're in the EU, or Peregrine if you're in North America. But it is entirely up to you. It's not enforced. However, I think I think you kind of got to have a bit of sensibility about it, that if you're going on there just to be a complete troll, then you're an absolute dick. I don't think there's any other way to do that. You know, RP is there for people who want to enjoy it. If you want to just go on there and enjoy being around RP, then that's perfectly fine. But don't go on there just to troll people that enjoy that. If you don't like something, just do it. It's like posting something on social media and telling everybody and their dog that you don't like it so nobody else should. Really? Why do you need to feel the need to do that? It's like turning around and saying, I don't like crochet, so I'm going to tell everybody in the world that you shouldn't crochet. But what about the people that do and like it? Well, they shouldn't like it. It's like, no, just let them do what they want to do, and you know, don't be a tool about it, because people have this innate ability to want to tell everybody that they disagree with their opinion. I don't get it. I just don't get it. So anyway, that's by the by. These new 64-bit worlds are in addition to the existing 64-bit legendary worlds, Angmar, which is the US VIP, and Mordor, which is the EU VIP. Angmar and Mordor are special Veil of the Nine Worlds where transfers to the world are not enabled and players start fresh with new characters. Okay, so just so you're aware of that. I believe there might have been a just kicking of an advert on Twitch now, so if anybody's watching that, I do apologize. So yeah, the four days, the initial days, are going to be the interesting thing. Whatever that date is, I think what might be, and I never say this that people should do this, is that some people will take time off to kind of do these things. The problem is when you set a date, and I know people obviously work and a lot of people have to go take time to do certain things, is that dates change. Game development is very fluid. Sometimes dates don't get hit when they want to, and then things get delayed. Or sometimes, in the odd case, things get brought forward. So just be mindful that, you know, see if you can, you know, if you really, really want to do it, swapping days off, etc., holidays and that, just be very, very careful. Because I know some people are desperate to get the names that they require. Now, this is probably the meat and potatoes bit. What do I need to know about character transfers? You will transfer your characters through the game launcher. After entering your username and password, you will see a transfer button on the launcher. Press it to select which character from which game world you want to transfer from, which world you want to transfer to, and decide whether or not to include shared items in your transfer. The transfer takes a few minutes. You cannot be logged into the character while attempting to do a transfer. Shared items transfer remains available if all characters have moved off of a world. So for obviously, in my case, I would, obviously in the instructions they're using Landraval there, but for me, I would be using kind of Evernight in that list. Then I would hit transfer, and then it would give me the option to choose which character I would want to shift, which I would want to move. But again, this is just something that you're going to have to kind of just get through in your head so that you know what to do, and then it's not a panic and you don't know what to do. And, you know, there's certain elements that can maybe be a little bit clearer for people, but don't panic is all I'll say. So that is going to be your launcher that you're going to be looking at. You're going to hit whichever one it is, you know, Mordor, Angmar, whatever, Evernight, and then hit transfer. And then you're going to be choosing to transfer a character from that. Sika, how are you doing over on Twitch? Yeah, sorry, I just had to double check. Yeah, you're over on Twitch. How you doing? So if you have more items in shared storage, escrow, shared housing storage, or other form of storage than you have available to interact with due to account limits, everything will transfer over and the relevant storage will be in a withdraw-only state until you get below your available limit. Basically, what that means is, like, maybe your shared storage has a limit of, like, 300, for example, but you transfer everything across on, and you kind of merge characters from different servers, etc. All of a sudden, you're above that amount with the items that you have, perhaps. Then you're like, oh, Now what do? It'll just be, you'll be given free slots in your storage, but you can't put anything in to that storage because you're above that limit. So if you have a storage limit of 300, but you have a total of 315 items, you would have to keep taking 15 items out and doing something with them to get back down to the limit. But also when you go below the 300, you could then put something back in. You know, it's kind of simple, but I think it just needs to be said for people. So in preparation for the introduction of the new 64-bit worlds, we are increasing the base number slots, character slots available to VIP and premium accounts. VIP accounts with active subscription will have access to 12 free player character slots, increased from 7. So if you are a subscriber, if you are a VIP, long-term, founder, whatever it is, lifetime, then all of a sudden you'll have found that your number of slots available to you has increased when you log in, and you will see that now. Okay, so you will see that now because mine's shot up on here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I've got 28 character slots available to me on Evernight. I had 22, I think, before. So yeah, I had 21 because I'd used them all. So yeah, it's given me 7 more. So we're up to 28 now. Yeah, sorry, my maths was off there. Duh. So yeah, that's kind of increased as well. If you are a premium character account holder, which is basically if you spent any money in the store, you become a premium account holder. You will have access to 10 free player character slots, increased from 5. So you've been doubled there, which is nice. Character slots, free accounts, and for monster player characters are unchanged. So if you have a free-to-play account, you're not going to see an increase, and for monster players, you won't see an increase either. Now, this is the bit that is probably going to get people's knickers in the twist the most, is what about names? So, if another character exists on your destination game world with the same name as your character's name will be appended with a -1. If a character -1 already exists, your name will be appended with a -2 or a -3, etc. So, if there is already a Frodo Doodle on Orcrist, and I transfer in Frodo Doodle from Evernight, because that Frodo Doodle is already there, my character will become Frodo Doodle -1. Okay? If there is 2 Frodo Doodles already in existence on Orcrist, for example, there will be a Frodo Doodle and a Frodo Doodle -1. And then I bring a character in called Frodo Doodle, he will become Frodo Doodle -2. Okay, it's just that the names have to be unique. So that's where you get the appended -1, -2, -3. In the case that your character's name was taken and given a numeric suffix, once inside the game world, you can change your name 1 time for free by typing the command /change name space, and then you type the new name. So if I become Frodo Doodle -1 and then I have to change it because there's nothing else I can do, I don't want to be Frodo Doodle -1. I mean, you might want to be. It's entirely up to you, but then you would do the command in the chat /change name space, and then Frodo Dawdle. We'll call him Frodo Dawdle. We won't call him Doodle, we'll call him Dawdle. And then you'd hit enter. Now, as long as that name is not taken already, which could be an unfortunate case for some people, then your character would then become that new name, and that is the only time that you would get it for free. Normally, in the grand scheme of things, you have to pay for a rename in LOTRO points. You can select any name within our code of conduct that is not already being used by another character on your game world, and obviously that includes NPCs. So you generally can't be called that. I think there's been the odd occasion where maybe a character's been created and then they've brought an NPC character into the game which has the same name. That can't be helped, to be fair, because you can't ask the player to change their name just because you want to bring in an NPC into the game. So generally they can. There is the odd occasion where it can happen. But generally, they do reserve quite a few names. So don't expect to be called Elrond, for example. I'm sure some people will probably try that, as they always do. There'll be different variants of that. So most storage and wallet items will overflow if needed, which means that you will not be able to add additional items to that form of storage until the total is reduced below your limit. However, the following items will not overflow from your wallet: Embers of Enchantment, Motes of Enchantment, Figments of Splendor, and Monster Play Commendations. You will need to spend below your destination server wallet cap prior to transfer if you do not wish to lose any of these currencies. Now, this is very important because if you, for example, transferring 2 characters into Orcrist, again, I'm just using Orcrist because that's where I'm going to be heading as the destination. You have one character on one server that's got 8,000 Embers of Enchantment, okay? And you've got another character on another server that's got 3,000 Embers of Enchantment, okay? That basically, add them 2 numbers together and you get 11,000. Now, if I remember correctly, the max that you can have of Embers of Enchantment is 10,000. So what is going to happen is when you merge them 2 onto the same server, because they're on the same account, your wallets will be joined and you will lose 1,000 of your Embers of Enchantment. And that's why they say you need to take it below before you transfer. So it doesn't matter who you spend it with, whichever character, whichever you want to, then you would need to try and spend 1,000 or 500 off each, whichever it is, as long as the numbers are below that cap, because those specific items will not overflow your wallet. Okay, so Embers of Enchantment, Motes of Enchantment, Figments of Splendor, and Monster Play Commendations. You just need to be aware of that, because I'm sure people will go, I had 10,000 on that character and I had 10,000 on that character and I've put them onto Orcrist and now I've only got 10,000. Yeah, because the wallet is capped at 10,000. There is no overflow. For other things, such as marks and things like that, if there's an upper limit on them, then you'll be fine. Certain things in your storage, again, like we said earlier, shared storage, you'll go above the limit, but it'll be on a takeout basis. You have to take them out to get below the cap again. You won't be able to deposit anything. It can be a bit problematic because I did that with when they shut down Arnor and I moved one of my characters over. All of a sudden, all my shared storage and character storage, I couldn't put anything because it had gone above the limit and I had to keep taking stuff out. So just be aware, it can be a bit of a pesticle to do. So yeah, just be aware. I know somebody's going to get caught out with it and they're going to be like, oh, I've lost all that. Just check. You've got time. If you're going to log in, just check what your limits are, which characters you might be looking at. Another difficult thing is anybody who's on the Dark World, because you won't necessarily know what that character has. So, you know, that is tough, I think, to be fair. Right, so moving on. Free temporary transfers between new 64-bit worlds. So we will temporarily offer transfers between the new US 64-bit worlds and between the new EU 64-bit worlds on a weekly rotating basis until X date. They haven't decided when. This will allow players who accidentally find themselves on the wrong world or end up wanting to instead join a group of players on a different world the opportunity to transfer their characters to their final destination world. Each week on a Wednesday until the next Wednesday downtime, we will alternate between the ability to transfer between the roleplay and the regular servers. So just before we dive into that, what that does not mean is that they are allowing you to transfer between the EU worlds and the US worlds. Okay? It is basically between either. So if you're going to be, so for example, on the week one, they want free transfers from Peregrine to Glamdring and from Meriadoc to Orcrist. Okay, so Peregrine and Glamdring, they are the US variants of the servers, and Meriadoc and Orcrist are the two in the EU. Then the following week, it'll be Glamdring to Peregrine, so you can swap back the other way, and then Orcrist and Meriadoc. It doesn't mean that you can swap between Orcrist and Glamdring, or Meriadoc and Peregrine, because they're going. So basically, you've got to stay in the same data center, and that's what it means. Not, I'm going to move my characters across to the US. You can't do that, and I know that affects at least one person. I think it's Yavanna. I think you said before that you have characters that you want to be able to, you know, transfer back, but you can't. Archmage Lazarus, thank you very much.
Oh, viewers of plenty. Whoa.
There we go, nailed it. There we go. So yeah, so that I think is going to be a problem for some people, because you might want to transfer characters, but they're not allowing that kind of cross Atlantic transfer. So yeah, you just kind of it's unfortunate, but I know there's always outliers, and Yavanna, I don't know if there's any way around this, and I don't think there is, because I think they're still stuck with how the databases work, and that's why it's never really happened before. So if you are a kin leader, and this is going to affect some of you, I'm sure. I mean, I have my own little kin that I've got. I think Magic's in there and some of my alts, and that's about it. This won't really happen too much because I don't have a kin house, but this is specific to kin leaders who have kinship houses. And this is very much information that you need to keep your beady eyes on ahead of the game. Okay, you should not, okay, absolutely do not disband your kinship. Okay, you do not. Don't do it. Definitely don't. Don't get rid of it, because you're going to be making an almighty boo-boo. Do not disband your kinship. Kinship leaders must abandon or sell their kinship house before they can transfer. So you have to get rid of the house. You keep the kin. Get rid of the house. Keep the kin. Okay? If you're a kinship leader. Kinship leaders should sell their premium kinship houses in order to have 100% of the writ cost of their kinship house returned to them. Okay? So if you are a kin leader, you will sell a premium kinship house. Okay? Notice it's a premium one, so you get the writs back. And you will get 100% of the cost back. The writs will be returned to you as an item in your inventory. Kinship leaders should abandon their classic kinship house prior to character transfer. Okay, so that is a normal house, basically, a classic kinship house. Not one of the premium ones. Obviously, the premium housing is stuff like we're in Belfalas or the Rohan housing instances, for example. So if you have a house in one of those premium areas which you've paid housing writs for, you must sell the house to get the writs back. If you have a classic one, you must abandon the house, okay? You've got to abandon it. To abandon or sell your kinship house, open the character panel by pressing C, select house, then select the house you wish to abandon or sell. Don't get it the wrong way around, because if you have a personal house and if you have a premium house, if you get it the wrong way around, oops. So kinship leaders really kind of need to get their head switched on for this one. So the only difference between abandon and sell is that players abandon their classic houses and do not get their gold purchase price returned. Okay, so you won't get anything. When you abandon it, you get no money. It's basically you just like, no, nothing to do with me anyway. You forfeited it. You've got rid of it. Because it's not going to exist. So it has to go. So this is literally say this is just for kinship leaders. Okay. So the only difference between abandon and sell is that players abandon their classic houses and do not get their gold purchase price returned. Please note that kinship leaders abandoning or selling their kinship house prior to transfer is different from normal classic or premium player housing transfer, where you should not abandon or sell your home prior to transferring your character. So kinship leaders need to abandon or sell depending upon which version they have. So if you have a premium house, you sell it. A kinship house, I'm talking about, and this is just for kinships. A kinship premium house, you sell it. If you have a classic house, you abandon it, and that is only for kinship leaders and kinship houses. For players, if you have a normal classic or a premium player housing and you're going to transfer it, you should not abandon or sell your home. So don't do it. It's just so that you know that you have a house. Now, the problem is when you transfer, you may not get the same house. And, you know, they can't guarantee that. We've talked about that before. Right, scrolly. You can see all this, blah, blah, blah. So it's just kind of graphics for what you would do if you were going to sell it. So when transferring a character who is a kinship leader, the game will disband the kinship on the former world and reform the kinship on the new world, complete with all historical data. Players who were in that kinship will be automatically added to the kinship on the new world if they decide to follow the kinship leader and transfer. So this basically is saying that the kin is going to be tied to that kinship leader character. And all that data is going to happen. So, for example, my kin, which is Geekbyte, is streaming, which has some of my characters, my alts in, and some of Magic's alts. If I transfer that character first, and then we transfer over my alts, they will just rejoin the kinship, because as soon as I've transferred, the kinship is remade. So, for example, the Guardians of Middle-earth, which Baz is the leader of and part of my kinship, if I wish to remain part of that kinship, he needs to transfer first. Now, what I will say that the only issue with that is that some kins are not going to be able to have their leader transferring straight away, because their kinship leader might not be available, they might not be able to get online, etc. Now, all that will happen if you transfer before your kinship leader is that you will not be in a kin. When they transfer, you could rejoin that kin. Now, what does that mean? Nothing will change apart from your join day of that kinship. Now, I know a lot of people do hold on to that. They're like, I've been in this kinship since, you know, the first day, blah, 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 when we could create kinships. I want to preserve that day. If you are one of those people, then you will have to wait until your kinship leader has transferred that character. And it is only that character. They don't have to transfer all of them. It is literally their single character that is the kinship leader. Once they are transferred, then you can transfer. But again, it depends on who your kinship leader is, whether they're able to get online, when they can transfer, etc., etc. So that's entirely up to you. That's a personal choice. If you want to maintain that date of when you joined, boom, do it after the kinship leader has joined the new server and transferred over. Yeah, it's just all that happens is Magic is just asking. So if you then joined, you would be on a different join date. Yeah, because like I say, if Baz transfers his character, but I've transferred before him, you know, I'm already on Orcrist before him with one of my characters, and then he joins, I won't be in a kin because the kin doesn't exist. The kin will only exist when he joins. Then I would have to say, hey, Baz, can you put this character back in the kin? And then it would be from that date that it would show that's when I joined the kin. To me, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant because who looks at a join date? I don't. It doesn't bother me because at the end of the day, people know who you are generally, you know. Because it's even like when you create a new character, it doesn't have the same date as, you know, your original character. You know, you could create a character tomorrow and join it, and it'd be like from that date. Nobody really cares. I don't, and that's a personal opinion, but I know some people do, and it's you know, they've got to maintain that date from, you know, the longest date of that character. Kinship leaders aren't going to have that problem because they're the ones that generally created that kin in most circumstances, anyway. So don't worry about it. Again, just wait until after your kinship leader has transferred. So no, the kinship leader should be the first character in this kinship to log into the game world following transfer. If a kinship member logs in prior to the kinship leader, the member will be removed from the kinship since the new kinship is not yet established on the game world. Please coordinate with your kinship leaders on the timing of transfers. If you are removed from your kinship leader will simply need to re-invite you to the kin and set your permissions. Again, the only thing, it's just what we've just talked about. The only thing that would change is your join date to that kinship. Bound items in the kinship house will be returned to their owners. Unbound items will be placed into the kinship leader's personal housing storage or escrow depending upon the item. Any remaining prepaid credit or unlocked storage in the kinship house will be automatically granted when purchasing a new kinship on the destination world. So that is obviously for the normal house, for example, the classic housing. If you're paid like your maintenance, for example, if it's already there, then when you transfer, that will be included. We know that not everyone will be able to get the same house in the same location they have on their former world, but we will be working to offer as many neighborhoods as possible for the launch of these new worlds. And this, I think, is apart from the names, is going to be probably one of the most contentious things, I think, because there's certain houses, certain worlds that people want to grab, and I know that some people have taken a significant amount of time and effort to get whole neighborhoods just to themselves, which unfortunately it can't happen, because again, if you've got, I don't know, one of the Hobbit homesteads, for example, has got somebody in plot 1 on, I don't know, Laurelin, for example, and somebody's got plot 1 in the same homestead on Evernight, and then they both come in, first come first served on that one, I think. So as I said in the previous streams that we've done, I think what you need to do is look at your 3 main characters that you definitely want to try to keep and try and get those names on day 1. One of those should be one of your house owners for definite, because that gives you then the best chance perhaps of getting that character transferred quickly with its name that you want, and then that gives you the best chance to actually grab the house that you want as well, because that's going to be a bit of a free-for-all as well. So if you're not bothered, then it doesn't really matter. It's kind of irrelevant, but I can imagine there's a lot of people that do want a specific house. So what do I need to know about kinship transfers if I'm a kin member? You do not need to leave your kinship, so don't go leaving it. You'll automatically be rejoined to your kin after the transfer as long as the kinship leader has logged into the destination world before your character. Okay, so as we've said, as long as the kin leader has got onto the world, everything will be recreated. You can just join in and everything will be fine and dandy. Any of the character bound items that you've placed into your kinship house will be returned to you when the kinship house is abandoned for the classic housing or sold for premium housing. Any unbound items will be in escrow or personal housing storage of the kinship leader after they've purchased a new kinship house. So I can imagine that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be, where the hell does this item come from? Because it's just going to start appearing and you'll be like, I don't remember that. And it's probably because you've put it in the kinship house, even as a decoration, as a something in the storage so that people can use. All of a sudden you'll be getting items back and you won't remember of ever putting it in there. I went to my premium house the other day, yesterday, and I was like, I don't remember this. And then there was one from one character that was a long time ago, and I'm like, how long's that been in there? Kind of, you know, well, c'est la vie, c'est tout. So what do I need to know about my existing personal housing and transfers? And this is going to affect a lot more people than the kinship house, so do get your listening lugs tuned in. So there are a few things you need to do other than transfer. So the belongings and history of the ownership of the house will go with your character to your destination world. When you log into the destination world, you will have a mail that contains an attachment of currency equal to the purchase cost of the house. All of your items will be in escrow housing storage, and character-bound items will be returned to the appropriate characters. So, as we said, things are going to start appearing on your characters that you'd be like, where does that come from? And I went through some of my stuff in my shared storage, and I'm like, Christ, I really gave that from that character? How long ago was that? And it is, if that's the case, you know. So you're going to get stuff that's going to come back to you. Sika Palmer, it's been years since I've last been so excited about LOTRO. We're getting servers back in Europe and even I'm playing with decent latency. Yeah, I mean, if you've been playing fairly recently and you're a VIP, you would have been able to play on Mordor, which is where one of my characters, well, a few of my characters are actually. Let me just give you a little wiggle on there, which is going to be based in Europe anyway. So we've kind of been playing on a 64-bit server with a decent latency to Mordor, which is nice. But obviously having your regular server is going to be good as well, where your majority of characters are going to be. So yeah, it's maybe been coming for a while, but I think we'll take it for what it is, and it's an investment in the game. So it's all good, all good. So after you've obviously transferred your character, what is your next step then? So you will need to purchase a new premium home with the writs you receive if you wish. Okay, so you might not want to. You might want to just hold on to them writs and just wait. I think it's going to be very difficult not to buy a house, because if you've got a house full of stuff, it's all going to be in escrow and you're going to be like, well, what do I do with it? You know, where do you... So it'd be entirely up to you what you do on that day. Housing storage upgrades persist with your new home when you have a new housing chest. So players should consider putting hooked items into character storage and removing anything from their small premium per house storage chest to transfer if they plan to move only a few characters, and if they wish to leave certain decorations behind for characters that are remaining on the existing server. Now for me, I'm going to be moving probably all my characters. I'm not going to be leaving any behind. So for me, I'm just going to transfer and then just transfer another one, transfer, and just keep transferring them until they're all done. And then I'll have nothing left on Evernight apart from memories until they turn it off. You know, I won't be going back on there. There's no need. I know some people are going to find that very difficult. Everybody's sensitive to different things. But for me, Evernight is a server name. It doesn't matter. The world is all the same. Where you playing? Orcrist. Where did you play before? Evernight. It's like moving home, you know. Sometimes you want to move, sometimes you don't. And, you know, it is what it is. But it varies from person to person. I think for a lot of people it will be, you know, because I did a few polls and discussed it with a couple of different kins. And everybody that plays on Evernight is just going to transfer. Now, the problem is it's going to be a busier server. It is going to be a busier server because we're kind of amalgamating a lot of characters from other servers. Now, not everything's going to move. Not everybody's going to move the characters. But we know that in the future we may find that Evernight shuts down. But we'll come to that, and we have discussed it before. So if you're moving all your homeowners, remember to transfer the account-bound storage from your former server to get your decorations available on the new world. So if you want to transfer account-bound storage, you need to move that. This will be an option. So you can take everything from your house, furniture, desk. Yeah, when you transfer that character, you'll have the option to transfer all. It's basically... When I transferred off Arnor, it said, do you want to transfer everything? Do you want to transfer like your bound items, etc., etc.? And you literally go, yes, and just transfer it all. I knew I had to move my character off Arnor. He was only like a level 60 champion or something like that. Literally, I just moved him off there and I took everything. And then anything else that was left behind, if there was no characters, if there's any characters that you don't want to transfer, which invariably you generally do, but if there is any you want to leave behind, you just leave them there. You strip them of all assets. I had like level 2s and 3s and stuff like that I never did. But from my personal point of view, on Arnor, I literally just sold everything, got everything out of my vaults, you know, like for each character. So say I had like 3 characters on Arnor. I literally... Character number 1 was the one I was transferring. Characters 2 and 3, in their vaults, I took everything out. I sold it, or I just destroyed it, whatever it was that I didn't need or I couldn't sell. And I gave all that money to character number 1. Everything in the shared storage that was going to move, I left. Everything in personal vaults, I either sold or gave to the character I was transferring. And then I moved him. I just said, right, transfer everything. Then obviously the characters on Arnor, There was nothing on them apart from, I think I literally stripped them of every bit of clothing, weapon, no matter what, anything I could sell, and then gave that to character number 1, which was the one that I transferred. So you'll have that option in advance. That's only if you're going to kind of leave the character behind. If your intention is to transfer that character, then you don't need to worry about that. That was just an additional step because we knew that Arnor was shutting down. Now, in the future, if Evernight does close down, which I suspect it will, then you've got that kind of decision to make is like, do I just leave that character behind? Do I take everything off it and transfer that one character across with all the stuff? But that's a decision that you kind of need to make. You might just leave one crappy little character on there because it's always on a per server basis. And then what you might do is you might have that character there just in the open world so it can be there when they shut it down. Like I was there when Evernight exploded. That kind of thing. But it doesn't matter because you're going to have all your main characters on another server. So that's entirely up to you. You know, I was there. You could be just stood there in your underpants with nothing at all. Just when they switched the server off, you know. It's happened, and I know it sounds horrible, but people are going to have to eventually get used to that idea because the game is not going to run forever. There is MMOs every year that close down. It's just, you know, Magic's like, you can't say that. And I'm like, well, I'm just kind of being a realist, you know. I mean, we're just very, very lucky that LOTRO is still being invested in because there's always a point every year there is MMOs that close down. I mean, one of the biggest ones, which ironically closed down, and it was one that I wish I played many years ago, was Star Wars Galaxies. That was run by Sony, and they shut it down. Yeah. So, yeah, it is what it is. You know, all things come to an end. But luckily, we've got an option to kind of sidestep the Armageddon and get off Evernight. Yeah, Warhammer Online. I mean, things like WildStar. I mean, WildStar was an MMO that I played, kind of more actiony, but it was from some ex WoW devs. I think Keeps. I don't know if you played it. I think Furlong might have done. And we played that, and then it got shut down after about, I think, 2-3 years or something like that. It didn't last. Very difficult to make an MMO and keep it running. You've always got to have that. It's not like once and done with an expansion. You always got running costs, and especially when you're battling with a free-to-play model where you've kind of got to incentivize and monetize. It's very, very difficult. But anyway, we digress there. We digress. So for non-premium homes, storage capacity will be preserved and applied to the house you decide to purchase on your destination world. When you purchase your new home, it will start fresh with upkeep, ownership, and grace period, just like any newly purchased non-premium house. So for Magic's case, because she does have a classic house, you would have to buy another one. So with that in mind, what you've got to think of is that when these server announcements get mentioned, I wouldn't buy a shit ton of upkeep if you're intending to move all your characters off that place, because you're going to be shifting everything. So there's no point spending money because that doesn't change. That doesn't come across with you. So the upkeep, etc., will not maintain. So if they announce like the servers are going to start moving on, say, February the 20th, arbitrary figure, I have no idea. Okay, I'm just guessing here. So February the 20th, I would be very careful if you're paying upkeep. Even now, don't start putting weeks upon weeks upon weeks upon weeks of upkeep into it. Don't start spending your money because you're going to be wasting it, especially if your intention is to move it off that server, because you're going to lose the house. So recommended transfer order. Obviously, it's quite important, this, if you want to go across this method. So to make the process go as smoothly as possible, we recommend transferring characters to destination worlds in the following order. So kinship leaders, homeowners, shared items, then your other characters. Okay, so that is the preferred order. So if you're part of a kin, let the kinship leader move first. Always not always possible, but we know the pros and cons to that. If you've got a character with a homeowner, that is a homeowner rather, then you want to move them. Shared items, which are obviously shared between your whole characters on that server, you want to move them. And then lastly, any other characters that you want to move. Now for me, I'm making it as simple as possible. I might leave one character, newly created character on that server, just so that I can, for posterity, have a character sat there. But the majority of my characters are going to move. So out of the 21 I have, I think it is it 21? Yeah, 21 characters. I will be moving 20 of them. I've got 28 character slots available, but I'm going to be moving 20 of them, and I'm going to leave one behind. It might be a newly created character, which I might have. I mean, I've got a... Hang on, I've got one somewhere. I've got a level 6 high elf minstrel, which I might just leave there. And then just move all the rest and just leave her there. Strip her of all the assets, leave her there, and then move all the other ones across. Because if I want to create a new one, I can create another one of her on the new server. So it wouldn't really matter. It's entirely up to you again, though. It's personal preference what you do. So, important information. In-game mail is not transferred. So make sure you detach all mail items you wish to keep prior to transfer. Any items or messages lost during the transfer will not be restored by customer support. So if you're doing a lot of buying and selling, and you're kind of swapping stuff around your characters, sometimes, you know, you might send mail to another character, which you do because you don't always have the shared storage space. Pretty much you kind of scuppered if you move that character, because if you send something and it doesn't get picked up, obviously it gets returned to sender. Now the problem with that is if the sender has already moved off the server, the mail can't go back because it's got no one to go to. So kind of just think wisely before you start sending mail before the transfer happens. So any auctions, again, underway will be lost. So complete your auctions and get your stuff prior to transferring. So you want to, if you are selling a lot, just take the things off the auction, cancel the auction, put it back in your inventory. Because unless you're keeping the character, again, this is only if you want to transfer. If you're keeping the character on that place, then you can leave it. It doesn't matter. It literally is only if you're going to transfer. All this information is just if you're transferring. Your progress on the legendary items reward track. We got a follow. Neathwolf Hornunger, thank you very much for the follow. That's a hell of a name. Love it. Hell of a name. Bear with me. I just want to. What's that gone? So just realised that's disappeared. Oh. Marvelous. There it is. So yeah, your progress on the legendary items reward track will not come with you to your destination world. Please claim your reward track rewards prior to undergoing a character transfer. So if you're, I don't know, a level 50 or whatever on the legendary item reward track, you're going to get reset to 0, pretty much is what they're saying. So you need to claim everything from it before transferring your characters. So you're going to have to check where you are with that. Your friend and ignore list is not preserved. Now, if you've played the game for any length of time, then you'll have probably a significant friend list, and you might also have a significant ignore list. There's several on my ignore list. Not friends, obviously. People who are less than stellar in their dealings with people, for example. So yeah, they've definitely been put on that ignore list. So what you might have to do with that is when you're in game, literally maybe create a little text document, for example, of your actual items, of your people on your friends list, and then re-add them. Now, the problem is if they transfer and they change their name, you adding them back to a friends list, you won't know who they are. So you may have to kind of, you know, wait a little bit because that might not always work. So a note about player versus monster player transfers. Monster player characters will be able to transfer to for free rather, to those new 64-bit worlds, and player versus monster player gameplay will be enabled on those new worlds. I know there was some discussion around this about whether it would actually happen, but obviously that is confirmation that it will. So this FAQ is basically just going through everything that we've just said. Just bear with me. Excuse me. So just general information on this about what they are. So what are the new 64-bit servers and why they're being introduced? So 64-bit servers offers many technological advances compared to our prior 32-bit servers, including the ability to better manage resources and offer the smoothest possible gameplay experience to our community. These servers operate on modern technological standards and position the game for success and growth long into the future, which is always good to hear, because that, you know, is pretty much saying, hey, our plan is to support it and we need to move. The other thing is as well that the moving to a 64-bit, and we've talked about this many times, is the ability to access more resources. There isn't an arbitrary limitation to RAM that you can access. This is more, you know, feasible, and we've seen the performance uplift with Mordor, for example. So it's always a nice thing to see. So we know that it's something that's going to be improving our gameplay. What are the server options? So regular servers are Glamdring in North America and Orcrist in the EU. Role-playing servers are going to be Peregrine in North America and Meriadoc in the EU. So are role-play servers restricted to lore-appropriate character names? No, character names on the role-play servers do not need to be lore-appropriate. We do encourage everyone to be respectful of the stories being created by our role-players inside of the game. And again, that's just to go back to, if you're going there to be an absolute toilet, then stop being one. You just go flush yourself down that toilet. So will EU servers have language-specific chat channels? We are working to create separate French and German world chat channels for Orcrist and Meriadoc. We also have a new LOTRO Discord featuring French and German communities, in addition to French and German language support on our website and forums. It says here, click here to join the Lord of the Rings Online official Discord. Now, I don't believe, somebody can correct me here, but I don't believe that the official Discord has come online yet. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. Will the 32-bit game worlds be closing? And this is an interesting one. At this time, we do not intend to close our 32-bit worlds. Eventually, we would like players to experience the game on our 64-bit game worlds, but as long as the populations of our 32-bit game worlds remains healthy, we intend to keep these worlds open. I think this is very... I think maybe a bit more PR-focused wording on this, because they have already said that come later this year, which I would expect around September time, that they will look at whether the 32-bit worlds are worth keeping open. And it all depends. Evernight might have a good enough active player base on there that they keep it open. It could be that it's in the absolute depths of nothingness, and then all of a sudden they go, okay, we need to look at closing this, because running a server that is not being utilized is costing them money, and when you kind of bring it on 4 new servers and closing some down, not essentially closing them down, but they're not getting utilized, it's an added cost. So I think it might be a smart move to really consider, do you want to stay on that server in the long term? I mean, performance might improve because there might not be as many people around, but my idea would be to shift, personally, all my characters off that server. Are these new Game Worlds legendary servers? No, these are regular servers with the same level cap and content available as the rest of the Game World. This will tell you, pretty soon they will close if the majority of active players move. The servers won't make a revenue stream large enough to keep them feasible. They'll be closed, and then they don't make SSG any money. Yeah, exactly. It's just like I said, I know we've discussed this before. If it's not financially viable, it's not going to happen. And that's what it boils down to. Pounds and pence, dollars and cents, whatever it is. If it's costing the company money and it isn't working for them, there's no point keeping them up. And again, when they're trying to keep a 32-bit server running, which is maybe still popular, we'll take example as Evernight as an example. There could be a massive player base still remains on there that don't want to move. The performance is not necessarily going to get any better, you know. It's not kind of an organic thing where it does get better. I think it's kind of at the limit, but you could see if there's slightly less people on that server that there is a performance increase, but there's still limitations. The 32-bit limitation is going to hamper it. So eventually I suspect, and I've said this all along, that they would close them, but that's not for the now. That's for in the future whenever they make that decision. Will player versus monster player gameplay be available in the new worlds? Yes. Player versus monster player is fully available on Glamdring, Orcris, Peregrine, and Meriadoc. That's interesting, actually. I've never really thought about player versus monster player on an RP server. I can imagine that that's very difficult to role play. But you never know. I'm sure there's characters that have been made specifically for that role. Will the legendary worlds Veil of the Nine mechanic be available on these new worlds? No. The Ringwraith battles and other aspects of the Veil of the Nine are limited to Angmar and Mordor. And I know some people had asked this question a little while ago, especially when Mordor and Angmar came online, whether that mechanic would become available. And I think they were umming and ahhing around it. If it was an easy toggle, then I can imagine that they would have done it. But I think it's not going to be. So they just kept it separate, which I think is a good move. Smart move, to be fair. Character transfers and name reservations. So can I transfer characters between regions, North America and EU? Yeah, Yavanna, this is the one that I think is the sticking point for your characters. Unfortunately, transfers between North America and EU servers are not currently possible due to a technological issue. This is something that we've known for years, that they've never been able to work around because of databases. And I think, again, it falls down to the money and the time and the dev time, basically, engineers to fix this. And they've looked at it in the past, and it's just seems like an absolute spaghetti way to try and fix. So I can't see them ever doing it. Players on existing 32-bit EU worlds can transfer to Orcris and Meriadoc, and players on existing North American 32-bit worlds can transfer to Glamdring and Peregrine. So if you're on a 32-bit EU world, whatever it is, wherever it is, then you can transfer your characters to the relative geographical new worlds. So if you're on Evernight and the other EU servers, then you can transfer to Orcris or Meriadoc. And then if you're on something like Brandywine, for example, you'd be able to transfer to Glamdring or Peregrine. It's entirely up to you. But again, it's harsh because of one of those original servers. You know, if you've played somewhere else, you can't transfer. And I know it's affected Yavanna. And probably quite a few other people as well, which would have thought, hey, finally I can move all my characters off that. Oh, I can't. That kind of thing. Which is very sad, unfortunately, because there's a lot of players that will have several characters that need to that would either need to be remade or redone. It's just an absolute shame that there isn't a way to do it. Even if it was a kind of a case of, hey, we can recreate that character for you on an ad hoc service, but you're not going to have all your stuff, you know. You literally would have a character, but you wouldn't have all your stuff. So will character transfers onto the new 64-bit servers be free? I've just actually realised there's a spelling mistake there. Gladring. There's no M. So will character transfers onto the new 64-bit servers, Glamdring, Orcris, Meriadoc, and Peregrine be free? Yes. All character transfers onto the new 64-bit servers will be free through August the 31st, 2025. Okay, so if you are looking to transfer any of your characters to the new ones, it will be a freebie. That is entirely up to you whether you do that. So we know the process, and just we'll kind of reiterate it because it is vitally important that you kind of get your head around this. So the first day of the 4, which is obviously day 1, VIP subscribers will be able to log into each new 64-bit server to access the character creation screen and secure up to 3, so only 3, names of their choice. VIPs will not be able to log into the game itself or transfer characters. Okay, so literally it's just name reservation day pretty much for VIPs. On the second day of the new servers, free transfers from 32 to 64-bit worlds will be available to all players. The game worlds themselves will remain closed, but the transfer tool will be enabled to allow for transfers to these worlds. So that is on the second day, whatever the date that would be. Now, bearing in mind that if you are transferring a character, you would not then be able to play on that character, okay, until the new world opens, which would be the third date. I don't know if these are completely sequential. It could be that date 1 is, say, I don't know, we'll say the 20th of February, but date B, the second date, might be the 22nd, so there might be that time. And then date C might be 2 days after that. So we're just going to have to be careful. Once they announce those dates, you kind of got a plan that you're not going to be playing that character on that date. And that's specifically for date B. On the third day, our new game worlds open. So free transfers from 32 to 64-bit worlds will continue through August the 31st. So from that point on, it's kind of going to be open. You're going to be able to play on it. You're going to be able to transfer your characters for free for 6 odd months until the end of August this year. On start date D, whenever that is, we are working to allow for free transfers from previously closed game worlds to these new 64-bit worlds. We will have information on timing for these closed world transfers in the future. We will likely open transfers to a few game worlds at a time over a period of time and leave transfers open until a later announced date. After this final transfer period, these previously closed worlds will be permanently closed and no further character transfers will be possible. That I will absolutely guarantee without a shadow of a doubt, somebody will miss that. That is like, oh, I used to play it. Oh, I used to have a character on XYZ server. And they'll miss it and they'll be like, what? I missed it? Yeah. They'd be like, yeah, you could have got that character back. Oh, I thought they weren't letting us get them back. Yeah, well, they managed to do something about that. So, yeah, there is always going to be somebody that slips through the net on that one. You can't do anything about it. So, can I transfer characters for free between Glamdring and Peregrine or between Orcrist and Meriadoc? Yes. So, we will temporarily offer free transfers between the new US 64-bit worlds and between the new EU 64-bit worlds on a weekly rotating basis until whatever date. This will allow players who accidentally find themselves on the wrong world or who end up wanting to instead join a group on a different world the opportunity to transfer their characters to their final destination world. Each week, Wednesday until the next Wednesday downtime, we will alternate between the ability to transfer between the roleplay and regular worlds. So, for example, of week 1, free transfers from Pippin to Glamdring, and then from Meriadoc to Orcrist. Remember, Pippin is North America and Glamdring is North America, so that they would allow you to transfer from Pippin to Glamdring. Meriadoc to Orcrist is both EU servers, so you go from Meriadoc to Orcrist. And then the following week, it will be back the other way. But at no point do they cross. You know, they said that you can't cross the streams, so you won't be able to at any point transfer between EU and US 64-bit worlds. That's not going to happen. For these free pits anyway. Will I have to transfer characters walnuts at a time? And this one is important. It is possible to select all characters on a server during transfer. So if you want to do them all at once, you'll be able to do them all at once. And like I say, for me, I would probably do that just for ease. But initially, that is on the transfer day. If you want to create your character with the name, then you need to be there day one. Which obviously that character would be one that gets deleted, so that you can then take up the new name. So what happens to my characters during the transfer? If another character exists on your destination game world with the same name as your character's name will be appended with a -1. If a character -1 already exists, your name will be appended with -2, -3, etc. Once inside of the game world, you can change your name one time for free by typing the command /change name space and then your new name and hit enter. You can select any name within our code of conduct that is not already being used by another character on our game world. Again, it's what we talked about earlier, where you're not going to be able to choose Elrond or whatever character name is already being used by somebody else. If you believe someone has deliberately and maliciously taken your name, please contact customer support through helping@standingstonegames.com and we will do our best to assist. A lot of people, again, are probably going to try that just because, you know, they've lost a name. Now, it has to be deliberate and malicious. But remember, there's going to be people that have the same name as you just because they're all kind of merged into one server. So you're going to have to, unless you have a real good reason, then it ain't going to happen. What account information on my former game world will transfer to my destination game world? So account properties that will transfer are Destiny points, shared storage, as in your bank, housing storage, wardrobe, and shared currency. All account shared paper items, including mithril and skirmish marks. So housing storage underwent significant changes in 2014, and characters that have not been logged in since 2014 may lose their housing storage items connected to that character. Logging into the relevant character prior to transferring will resolve this issue. I think majority of people here will have transferred or logged into a character since 2014. I'd be very surprised if they hadn't. So in relative terms to shared currency, there is an unlikely edge case here. If a wallet currency item used by a character bound rather than account bound, and you have not logged into your character since the currency was changed, any amount you have banked will remain with your character and will not be transferred unless you also transfer that character. Logging into a character prior to transferring then will resolve this issue. So pretty much just log in on every character that you intend to transfer would sidestep that. Will shared storage transfer with characters? Yes, you will have the option to transfer shared storage alongside your characters. You can also transfer shared storage separately if you so wish. Can I transfer for free from Treebeard to another game world? Yes. Free transfers from Treebeard will be available through August the 31st. If we decide to end the Treebeard experience at any point in time, we will offer free transfers again from the game world. So it's another VIP server that is obviously the slower variant. So if you do have a character on there, you might wish to transfer it off there. So that's going to be available as well. Does the progress I have made in my legendary item reward track carry over to the new world? No. Progress is made at the server level for your legendary item reward track, and that progress is not carried with you when arriving on your new destination. So again, we said it earlier, just if you're part of the way through a reward track or whenever it is, just claim everything before you move. Just ram it into every crevice you've got before you move that character, because it will not transfer. What happens to my in-game mail of my former game world? In-game mail items need to be detached and stored on your character or other form of storage prior to transfer. Mail is not preserved between transfers, and any in-game mail for your character is lost forever on your former world following transfer. Again, if you move, you sent something, that character might have already moved it, the destination will fail, come back to you, and if you've moved, then all of a sudden return to sender kind of thing, and then you might have already moved. So if you've got anything in process, get it off your characters or get the other person to collect it because they might not have it. Housing and shared storage. Again, it's kind of just a resume of everything that has already been said. So what do I need to do in my personal premium or standard house prior to transfer? The belongings and history of the ownership of your house will go with your character to your destination world. When you log into the destination world, you will have a mail that contains an attachment of currency equal to the purchase cost of the house. All of your items will be in escrow housing storage, and character-bound items will be returned to their appropriate characters. You will need to purchase a new premium house with writs you receive if you wish. We know that not everyone will be able to get the same house in the same location they have, but we will be working to offer as many neighborhoods as possible for the launch of these new worlds. For non-premium homes, storage capacity will be preserved and applied to the house you decide to purchase on your destination world. When you purchase your new home, it will start fresh with upkeep, ownership, and grace period time, just like any other newly purchased non-premium home. So just be aware of that. Okay, just be aware. So what do I need to do with my premium kinship house if I'm the kinship leader? Okay, it's just reiterating, you should not disband your kinship, whatever you do. Kinship leaders must abandon or sell their kinship house before they can transfer. Kinship leaders should sell their premium house in order to have 100% of the writ cost of the kinship house returned to them. So if you're a kinship leader, you must sell the premium kinship house to get the money back. Kinship leaders should abandon classic kinship houses prior to character transfer. To abandon or sell your kinship house, open your character panel, press C, then select house, then select the house you wish to abandon or sell. The only difference between abandon and sell is that players abandon their classic houses and do not get their goal purchase price returned. So if you have a classic kinship house, you're not getting any money back, pretty much. Please note that kinship leaders abandoning or selling their kinship house prior to transfer is different from normal classic or premium player housing transfer, where you should not abandon or sell your home prior to transferring your character. So that's the important bit for a majority of people. If you own a normal classic or a premium player house, you should not abandon or sell your home prior to transferring your character. Don't do it. When transferring a character who is a kinship leader, the game will disband the kinship on the former world and reform the kinship on the new world, complete with all historical data. Players who were in that kinship will automatically add it to the kinship on the new world if they decide to follow the kinship leader and transfer. Please note, the kinship leader should be the first character in the kinship to log into the game world following transfer. If a kinship member logs in prior to the kinship leader, the member will be removed from the kinship since the new kinship is not yet established on the game world. Please coordinate with your kinship leaders on the timing of transfers. If you are removed from your kinship leader will simply need to reinvite you to the kinship and set your permissions. Bound items in the kinship house will return to their owners. Unbound items will be placed into the kinship leader's personal housing storage or escrow, depending upon the item. Any remaining prepaid credit or unlocked storage in the kinship house will automatically be granted when purchasing a new kinship house on the destination world. We know that not everyone will be able to get the same house in the same location they have in their former world, but we'll be working to offer as many neighborhoods as possible for the launch of these new worlds. So yeah, again, just to reiterate, if you are transferring, ideally the kinship leader should move first. But if you do, for whatever reason, move before the kinship leader, you're just not going to be in a kin. You'll have kind of been evicted out of the kin. You'll just need to rejoin. When that kinship leader joins again, just say, hey, can you re-invite me to the kin? You'll be back in as you were. Not a problem. The only thing that will change is your join date, because you'll have basically left. So if you do want to maintain that join date, then make sure you move that character after the kinship leader. What do I need to know about kinship transfers? If I'm a kin member, you don't need to leave your kinship and you'll be automatically rejoined to your kin after your transfer, as long as the kinship leader has logged into your destination game world before your character. I think, yeah, it's kind of pretty much just the same as above. Nothing, yeah, well, let's skip through that. What if somebody already buys my space? Housing neighborhoods will be expanded as needed, but we cannot guarantee players will keep their exact same address. Housing items are returned and housing writs are refunded as part of the transfer process. So if you don't get the same house, you're either going to have to wait for them to open up maybe new housing neighborhoods, it's entirely up to you, or if you wish, buy a different house. It's entirely up to you. Is there a limit to the amount of items that we put in escrow housing storage when I transfer over? No, there is no limit on the amount of items that we can put in escrow storage, housing storage. Is there a time limit to move items from escrow housing storage? No, there is no time limit for escrow housing storage. So it can sit there while you wait. You might not have a house to fly around to. You know, I use mine specifically as a port, which allows me to get to various places, but you just have to wait until another house became available. Right, this is the interesting one for people who are very much from the dark servers that have kind of closed. What are the closed game worlds people call dark worlds? The dark worlds are LOTRO servers that were previously closed in 2015. Transfers from these worlds excuse me, from these worlds were available through 2018. At which time transfers became no longer available. So, you know, 7 years ago, 6-7 years ago, these were still available. So if you haven't logged in that time, you're going to get an opportunity. So the Clayers game worlds being reopened for one-way character transfers are in North America: Darrow Dwelf, Elendilmere, Firefoot, Imladris, Meneldor, Nimradel, Riddermark, Silverlord, Vilja, Windfalla. And in Europe, that is Anduin, Eldar, Estel, Gilrain, Maya, Northond, Snowborn, Vanya, and Withy Windle. And then, when will the Dark Worlds be open for transfers? It's going to be scheduled for a date in the future. They will be opened on a cadence of 1 day until all Dark Worlds are open. The following order is as below. So, Dwaro Delph is going to be first. Seemingly, it could change. Then Anduin, Elendilmere, Firefoot, Eldar, Estel, Imladris, Gilrain, Meneldor, Maya, Nimradel, Morthond, and Riddermark, Snowborn, Silverlord, Vanya, Vilja, Withywindle, and Windfalla. Now, I'm thinking that they're looking at that in terms of how many characters are on those servers. So they're looking at Dwaro Delph being probably one of the busiest. Although I was quite surprised to see Snowborn so far down, unless a lot of people had moved off there. So it might be just remaining characters that are on there that they've selected that order. Who knows? But that could change. So, yeah, that is the FAQ. Just perfect time. I've just been booted out of the game. Rubbish! Just been booted out of the game. Let me just log back in again. Boop, 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 boop. Rubbish. Let me just log in again. Rubbish. Yeah, come on, let me just bring that back up. Yeah, sorry, my game was just like, just going to shut down on there. Boop. So, yeah, it's kind of things that you kind of might need to read through a few times just to basically get your head around things that are going to happen. There's the URL again. There is an ad break on Twitch, so I do apologize if you're kind of missing this little resume of everything. Lord Dida Dude, SSG won't make 64 a big thing if it wasn't a big thing. I think by 2027 at this time, nearly everything. I don't even think they'll get to that date, to be fair. I'd be very surprised if they last into 2026. But the only reason I say that is that financially it won't be viable. So I honestly don't think they'll reach there. Dirty Fools, you thought it was alphabetical. I originally thought that, but then when you look, Dwaro Delph is before Anduin, and then you've got Imladris before Gilrain. So it does look very kind of alphabetical, but there is kind of Dwaro Delph is first, which obviously it shouldn't be. It should be before Anduin, but I think they've kind of moving that one first, and then they've done an EU, then kind of there, but then all of a sudden, I think what it happens is that they've tried to keep it like EU US and switch between the two, but I think it would have been EU, then US, but then we've got two EUs there, so they've kind of thing. So Linksy, thank you very much.
Oh, viewers of plenty. Oh, viewers of plenty. Whoa.
There we go. So generally it's following a alphabetical cadence, but there's switching around to try and alternate between EU and US. So it's not far off. It's not far off. But yeah, that's kind of the breakdown for that. I do implore everybody to kind of read it, have a look at it, see what it's gonna, how it's gonna affect you, what you need to kind of. Let me just do that. Put a bit of light on the situation. How it's going to affect you, how it's going to be problematic. What do I need to do? I mean, I'm sure that they'll amend this FAQ over time as well, and more clarity will be given to it. Do check out the forums as well, because there's a thread on there which people are asking a variety of questions. I think if your intention is to move all your characters off of your existing server, and this is definitely my plan, apart from maybe one, or I might just create another character, I will be shifting everything off onto Orcrist from Evernight. But for everyone else, it's not that easy. You know, you got maybe friends on there that you might want to, you know, stick around for, who haven't been playing, and be like, hang on, where's everybody gone, when they kind of log in. That could be an interesting conversation. It's like, oh yeah, we've all left. How do I get in touch with these guys? Where have they gone? They wouldn't necessarily know. So yeah, lots to kind of plan. If you're a kin leader, then really do take note of what you need to do, especially with your houses. Yeah, make sure you move parking. He'll be on the list, yeah. Parking is my warden, so he's a parking warden, and he's kind of sat there at level 10, I think he is. Never to be played. Although I could, technically, because the lag and the latency wouldn't be there, but I never got on with it. The gambits, I'm like, I can't remember all these gambits. Let me just shout and whack things. That's much easier. But yeah, there'll be lots to do. And if you're a kin member, if you want to maintain being in that kin, don't transfer that character before the kinship leader. But if you do, it just means that you will be in the kin, because the kin won't have existed when you've transferred before it happened, because all that information is duplicated to the kin leader's account. So if you do, you just rejoin the kin. Like I say, a lot of it is to do with how you deal with having a house, abandoning a house. Do you need to sell a house? That kind of thing. But yeah, once we get a proper date on it, we'll have a little look-see again, I'm sure, about what we're going to do. Now, what I actually did is, and I'm going to log into... Let me just get that out of the way. I can go. Yeah, and you can go. Thank you. I'm just going to drop into my hunter. Now, this is what I did for my character, just so that I could keep an eye on everything that I had and where it was going and who actually had the list. Now, it's a bit of an overkill, admittedly. It's only because I could do it. I did a little recording of this character, because he's the one that owns this house specifically, and I wanted to make sure that everybody, or everything that I knew where it was, how I had my house set up, etc. I'm not saying I'll get the same house, but it'd be nice if I could. But, oh yeah, this is going to take a while, isn't it? Let's just do this. So let's just go outside. Open the door. There we go. Go outside. So this is a premium house that I have in the Cape of Belfast. Go on, load in. Give me all the stuff. Yep, thank you. So what I did is, here in my house, I went into decoration mode, and then I actually recorded this as a little video. I just started up OBS and did a little video. Now, when you're in decoration mode, you can see here that when I hover over the item, which is up there, this landlocked dockmaster skiff belongs to Crete. So I know that that's going to go back to Crete, my captain, when I move this character, because it has to go back to them when I shift. Now, it's not going to really matter. I think one of the majority of things is that I know that where the item has gone, and if I want to recreate what this kind of looks like, I mean, I'm sure I'll change it. It wouldn't really matter. That I know where everything's gone. Like, that is Hysteria. I know that the Stone of Erech is Hysteria's. for example, Habel. It did this to me yesterday. It stopped working when I hovered over things, which was very annoying. But when you kind of hover onto things, you can kind of see this one was Sam Ridsvid's. I didn't actually realize this was my champ that I put there that allows me to travel. So all I did is I ran around in decoration mode. It took me 5 minutes, recorded it, just clicked on every item so that I knew what I had where. And if I wanted to recreate it, then I could. You could take pictures if you want to take pictures. Do it that way. Just so you know, I just thought, hey, you know, a picture's, you know, paint 1,000 words and a video does more kind of thing, because you can see exactly where you had stuff like the property guard there. I think that's Cretes. Is it Cretes? Yeah, Cretes account. So I know that that's where we'll go on that one. So no one can practically have a big house in the King of Gondor. Technically, probably not. I mean, his house is kind of Minas Tirith as such, you know. But yeah, that's, you know, it's not a bad house. It's not a bad house. But yeah, trying to get this house again might be problematic, but we shall see. But that's all I did, is I literally just logged in, went into decoration mode, and then just went to see which item belonged to who. And if I wanted to, I could return it to owner. I could do that now. But if I'm going to shift it, it's going to do it automatically. So it doesn't really matter. I didn't want to waste time on that, for example. But that's all I did. Just a handy little run around of your house, just so you know where everything is. And even doing the inside, don't forget it's inside decorations as well. Not just the outside. And I think, if I remember correctly, my shared housing storage rather, or the wardrobe, I can't remember which one of the two. I love how we slide about because it hasn't loaded in yet. Is that when we click on this, it'll take a little while. But one of these, it's also handy just to pop this up as well, and you can see all your items. Yeah, here I've got 78 of 75, so I'm already over the limit, as they've said. Now, what that means is that if I was to, I need to take in at least 4 things out of here, put them into either storage or give them back to the original owner. Like, that's bound to account, for example. That item is bound to account. That one's bound to account. There might be stuff in here that is bound to a, like if I hide bound to other characters, see how some things disappear. Like the Hauberk of the Eastern Net there. That is bound to Crete. So when I transfer this character, they're going to get sent back. But they'll just remain in kind of escrow. But I know where they've gone, and I'll just have to deal with them. So if you have anything that's kind of like this, is just at full capacity for the various decorations for the housing, and then this is the combined, but I'm not going to spend 100 mithril coins on expanding the housing storage. That is a fact. I usually use it just for cosmetics, if anything. So don't forget to look at that while you're in here as well. And then obviously when you're in decoration mode, you can see everything that's kind of in here. Again, that ceiling chandelier there is just bound to, it'll just come straight to me because it's not bound to anybody. It was crafted by somebody. Same with that one. Just crafted by somebody, so it's not bound to anybody. So yeah, that's just a handy little tip that I did yesterday, just so that I know anywhere in my house where I've got everything, how it was kind of laid out. I could see it. Again, it doesn't have to be exact. It's just I know that some people will be like, oh, I've got to have exactly the same as I used to have when I buy a new house. Taking pictures is okay, but it's going to take you a long time. Whereas I think just recording a short video, you know, if you want to get it back exactly, just do it with a little video, because then you can see who owns it, where it was, and how you had it laid out. It's easier than trying to write it all down. That is a fact, because that would take a long time. I was going to do that, but I decided no, that's not a good idea. But yeah, just have a quick run around your house and just see what you can find. See what you like. Even like the decoration purposes, you know, like the stars on there, and then that effect as well. You can double check that that's how you had it. So yeah, lots to consider. Again, we've had no dates yet on when these things are gonna open up. I reckon sometime this month now, because we are in February. Yeah, we're February the 2nd. There's going to be a few days. I reckon within the next 2 weeks they'll kind of start announcing it. Exactly, Nithwolf, and it's a very good thing. I think the other thing as well, if you take into consideration that moving in real life, generally, you start clearing things out. You start getting rid of stuff because you might be downsizing, you might be changing, you might just think, oh, I don't like that anymore. Why are we keeping hold of it? There could be stuff like, that you just want to really get, whatever you want. I mean, it's like I could all of a sudden not want the model of Orthanc there. I might want to move him, or something. I'm like, oh, I don't want it. I'll just get rid of it. There could be something that you don't want, basically, is what I'm saying. You just get rid of it. To be fair, if I'm honest, Seeker, I just literally just lob things into my house. I literally don't use it for anything other than random storage. And outside is just travel points. And because with a premium house, you have a 1 minute cooldown. And for me, oops, that's taking a while to load in. You can see that I'm sliding around. Oh, hello. There we go. There we go. So that's all I'm bothered about. I just slap on a decoration and that's it. So yeah, the Allure of Umbar Barbell to transfer, the Dockmaster skiff as well. And then literally down there is the Stable Master. And that's all I, use it for. It's just for getting around with my characters. So that's what I've done. And what you do is entirely up to you, but it's certainly something I could suggest is handy. If you want to recreate your house, again, I'm not too bothered. I think the other thing as well is that you actually have a kind of list of stuff that you used to have in case anything goes missing. If anything glitches in the transfer, that'll be interesting as a proof and say, look, this was recorded on this date. Where's it gone? Because it's not here with the transfer. But also remember, some of your stuff is going to go into escrow. Some of your stuff is going to get returned to the original owner, so they might have it. And if you haven't transferred that character yet, it's not going to be there. So, but for me, it's not going to be a problem because I'm just going to transfer nearly everything. And if I don't, I'll just recreate a character for there. But yeah, I do like the premium house. So I'll definitely get another one at some point. But let's just dive out of here. I might need to actually just switch servers. Because we need to be back on Door of More. The one with more doors. Okay, now. Right, so let's just quit out of here because I need to log into the correct server. I can't do that while I'm here. Right, let's get logged back in again. So yeah, I'm sure there'll be plenty of information coming out in the following weeks regarding this, but I actually think that we'll see some of the new things, the new servers coming in a couple of weeks, I reckon. We'll get the new expansion too, yeah. I think that's the other thing to consider, and I'm actually surprised. Hang on. Oh, getting in line to connect. Yep. Has the servers just crapped themselves or something? Hang on. Okay, that's not behaving itself. Let me just redo that. I'd be very surprised if they, and I said this before, that maybe in like 6 months, 8 months time, whatever it is, when they look at the populations of the the new servers, sorry, not the new servers, the 32-bit servers, such as Evernight, if they see that it's kind of being a bit low, I'll be very surprised if they allow things to go on where they would actually put the expansion on, because we're due to have a new expansion later this year. I'd be very surprised if they allow that to kind of happen. I would have thought that they'd be looking to shift players off that server rather than deploying it onto a 32-bit server. Let me just bring that back up. You can have a look at the screenshots. For some reason, I can't get onto Mordor at the moment. It says getting in line to connect. I don't know if anybody's actually playing on Mordor at the moment. I don't know, Kerr, I don't know if you are. It'll be the new expansion coming this year, Seeker. Obviously, any existing expansions that are already out, then they will obviously be on the new servers. Mod is all the trick I found is to log into another server, go out, and then log on to mod. That's really weird, is because I've just been on Evernight. That's really weird. Right, okay, well, let's try that. Let's try another server. Let's try. Well, I'll see if I can go back to Evernight and then try it back again. Because that was really weird. Because that's literally what I just done. Yeah, Legacy of Morgoth. I've not played too much of it, if I'm honest. I played a little bit. It didn't float my boat massively. Yeah, okay. So I am just logging into Evernight again, which is good. So we'll get there logged in. Again, you've just seen some screenshots that I've taken over time in there while I try and get this logged in. Right, there's that. Okay, so that got me logged in. I'm at the character screen now, so let me just quit that. Let's just now see if I can get into Mordor. Oops, that's not what I want. I want that one. Oh, might be working now. Did it? He said getting in line to connect, and then it wouldn't do anything. But then all of a sudden, it started doing stuff now. Boink. Right. So let's get rid of that. Here we are. Okay. Experience with that. I know it's been a problematic week this week for Evernight, and now. Call me a cynic. Having issues with the server just before they bring on new servers that should hopefully run better. And this is a very cynical viewpoint, and I don't think SSG are doing this because it kind of harms their reputation, so there'll be no reason to do it. Is that it would kind of push people to want to go, oh, do you know what? Evernight's been so atrocious this last week or so. I want to go and play on a server that's in better kind of condition or behaves itself better. So, yeah, it's an interesting little, thing that's, could possibly do. But I think most people have made their mind up anyway. Right, here we are. Solvezi, how you doing? I can't blow through an RSI struck of my 70 plus arm is not recovering quickly. Hopefully that picks up and behaves for you soon, my friend. Right, so we are in the 21st hole with my minstrel. Let's just do that. Let's just do that. Nothing. Good. Marvelous. Hey. Right. This is it. Doesn't let me in. Oh, it is. Hey. Yeah, I've got a bit of a cold, I think, coming on at the moment. It's a bit annoying. Well, not a bit annoying. It's a lot annoying. But we shall see. Right, remote quest. Okay, hobnanigans. Never do hobnanigans. Nope, go away. Thank you. Bye. Right. Right, how long have we got left on those? 7 days, that's fine. Right, open up silver. Ooh, we got a boost, 150 virtue XP, and... Okay, we've got scrolls. 1,000. Nice. Right, let's just bring up that... I've kind of maxed out my points now because I am level 60 on this character, but I really didn't know what I should do in terms of exact build, so I just slap things in as you do. Right, so confidence, how far off is that? 650. Okay, that's 1,000, isn't it? So that's going to cap that one. Now, what did it put? I hate when it does this because it never puts it in the right one. Fidelity. Okay, it did put into fidelity. That's all right. We'll take that. We'll take that. And then we'll put that point into that. I was a little bit bothered it wouldn't do that. Ah, cool. Right. Shared storage. Let's just bring that up. There we are back on Mordor. Come on. There you go. Now, can that drop into there? Did. Marvellous. That can drop onto there. It did. Cool. No. Right, how far we got onto that then? Okay, decorative. Okay, we're not too bad. How long we got left? Just over 2 weeks, so 16 days, 17 days, near enough. That's okay. That's okay. So I can't believe that is the old one, but they haven't changed that one yet. So that's all capped now, isn't it? 60, 60, 60. Yeah. I can't do anything with that. Let's just look at the club. 60, 60, 60. Yeah, so they're all capped out. So anything else that I now grab in terms of these, I'm going to put it to there if I can. Okay. That was handy. Do I actually have universal solvents? I don't think I do. Yeah, we just transfer them all. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. No point in them staying there. Right, so I just need to actually open them up. Oh shit, who's it bound to? Radaburger, you dick. Ugh. Okay, I was going to create a space for myself. But I need to bring Radaburger on then. What a douchebag. What a douchebag. Yeah. Level 50 bear on here. Right. Let me just bring. Yeah. Okay. Tasks. Oh, yeah, it's around this corner, isn't it? I'm just going to hand him my tasks. While I'm here, hand him my tasks. There it is. I was like, where's the board? Not where the board is. Are you bored? No, I'm bored. Right. So, let's just check a reputation. Right, how are we doing? Oh, the miners is fine. Guards I need to work on, so okay. Let's just drag that over there. Let's just put that there. Boink. Okay. Right, so we're doing the guards. We're finishing that off. So beautiful sword sheaths. Okay, let's just drag them out of there. Boink, boink, boink. Uh-huh. What do we need? Another couple of thousand. Okay. Right. And what else we got? Creepy skins. Let's see if we can find creepy. Nope. Got creepy goose. Elegant sword sheath. Oh, we've got some elegant scales. Let's do them. Oink. What are we at? 28,420. Elegant scales. Another one. Boink. Yay. So that gives us another one of them, which is cool. Put them into there. In fact, how many people are online? So yeah, only 630. So there has been a drop, simply because of, you know, players probably going back to the normal server, sorting stuff out there, enjoying, you know, playing on the beta or whatever. There's certainly some other things that'll be interesting people at the moment. Right, and do we have a nasty filth? We do. We got some nasty filth. And that last one. We're going to be a little bit short, aren't we? For now. There we go, yeah. So what was that? This is maximum. So yeah, we're just tiny, a little bit short there. Oh. Snooze fest. Sometime today. There we go. Should have reset that to everything. Piles of nasty filth. So that should have given us possibly one space back as well. Yeah, marvelous. Love it. Gotta see it. Right, so let's. We've done that. We've got a bit of reputation. We got some of that there as well. Tootle, tootle, tootle. Off we go. So we are down in the Foundations of Stone, aren't we? That's where we're heading. That's where we were. That's where we were doing stuff. Oops, wrong way. Other side. Run, Forrest, run. Right.
The shadow of Mordor will not long fill the halls of Khazad-dûm.
Shadow Refuge. I was like, what's the name of it? I was like, I totally forgot what it was called. Road. Doop, 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 doop. Right. So, where do we need to be? Spiders, nameless, lobsnagger. Eight-legged insanity. Hello, that way. Boop, 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 boop. I can't remember if it's just off here. Well, that mine's still there. Let's drop off here. Boink. Yeah. Bloink. Just well. I love how it's like go back to its cage and you can probably just easily get out again anyway. So anyway, that was relatively easy. So spiders and glob snaggers and nameless dark stuff. Aha. Fell over. Right, kill some stuff. Another dark overseer there. Troll in. Oh no, he's alright. He's turned away. Let's go. Nice. Any trolls? No. So let's not bother. Oh. Nice. Some things have moved. Right, let's not see anything else along here. Boop 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 boop. Beep-be-doo. Okay. Let's just find anything. So 3 more nameless, 1 more glob snagger, and find the room rock. So apart from LOTRO, what's everybody been playing? I'd like to know. What games have you been diving into? I started a new character on Path of Exile 2. After my Deadeye Ranger, I've now gone to an Infernalist Witch. And boy, does she hit hard. She's certainly easier to level than my Deadeye Ranger was. I've had literally obliterating all sorts and everything. Oh, Sol, you're playing Eve. Cool. I know it sounds awful, but I could never get into Eve. Just too complex and I didn't have the time to really dedicate towards it. Oh, crap. Assassin. Okay, see, assassins I can take on. It's the other buggers I can't take on. Remember, we're playing on Mordor, so we do get the Veil of the Nine, and these are one of the equivalents of the Veil of the Nine in terms of when you're in Moria. You got that right? When you're in Moria, you do have to deal with them popping up, but it's only goblins and orcs. Hello. Doink. So yeah, I've been playing Path of Exile 2, which I'm really enjoying actually. I'm glad they changed it to WS and D keys and stuff, because it was always point and click, which I found quite infuriating, and then casting your skills with numbers and things. WS and D. Hello. Oh. Glob snagger done. Nice. Doink. Let's get out of that goop. Gotta get out of that goop. Cool. Stuff. Right, glob snagger guard. I need spittles. Lacking spiders. Doink. I played a little bit of the new Sniper Elite as well, Resistance. I do like that game. It's one of those that you can kind of pick up and put down. And because it's on Game Pass as well, PC Game Pass, it's nice and easy just to pick up when you want. And, you know, you don't have to buy it. I know you're kind of playing for it with just having Game Pass, but I think Game Pass is a good deal. Spiders. The spiders. Lurking in the shadows. It's just a nameless. Okay. What we'll do is we'll take these out. I get a feeling that we're going to be taking on the troll shortly, because I'm sure there's normally a troll wandering around here somewhere. Up we go. Okay, we're gonna wear that. This of you trying out the captain, not sure about it. See, I actually like the captain. Captain is one of my highest level characters. I'm not saying I play brilliantly or anything like that. I just I do quite like the captain. It's one I've been playing for quite a little while. But I know it's, again, this is the good diversity. Is not everybody likes every kind of character class. You know, some people find some very difficult, some find them okay, something like just can't dig the Lawmaster, or like me, I don't dig the Warden in any way, shape or form. It's just not for me. But then you pick up another game that has maybe a similar character, and you're like, yeah, I quite enjoy that. Yeah, that's cool. And you know, it all depends. Oops. Hello. Ooh. There was something sneaking there, because it hit me. Unless it was something that lasted after being hit. Okay. Oh yeah, you're doing. Yeah, I've seen you, Lilith. It looks very good. That keeps, to be fair. Quite impressive. It's just a shame it, you know, it's falling to bits on you. I can imagine a lot of the kind of real good model makers out there. I mean, they're going to be in, you know, handcrafting stuff and things like that for a long time. But I can imagine that they're going to be thinking, I don't want 3D printers to become that good, because it kind of puts them out of business a little. But I think when you get a proper model that's crafted by somebody, the level of detail is very, very cool. There's a snarling overseer there. You'll do. Oh, can't get you that. Get you there. There we go. Come on, you. Doink. Doink. Hey. Globe Snagger Warrior down there. Actually, well, I need to kill Globe Snaggers, but I don't actually need them. Yeah, printed a small one, turned out nice in the reprint because I cured it a little better. It's sitting on table, stable right on the desk. Cool. Different resin might help too, but part of the problem there is toxicity and the amount of chemical wash needed to clean the resin. I don't want to go that route unless I have to. Water washable is good for now. Yeah, I think keeping it as kind of simple as possible is always a good way. Right, here we go. Let's go find some spiders. Oh dear. Oop. Wow. That's a new deed, just because the lyrics of bravery from the Anthem of Composure. How long does that last for? 45 seconds. Tactical resist. What's the cooldown? Okay. So as soon as you can cast that, that's good. Ooh. Hello, you. See, I'm going to have to come back and kill you, aren't I? So I don't really want to kill you now. Not if I can help it. There's a spider somewhere. Up above me? Yep. Whoop. Get out of that. Yeah, I don't want to be taking on the executioners. I've got 2,000. He's got 21,000. That is a problem. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think I took on one and I managed, but they're so difficult when they've got 10 times your morale. It's a bit nuts, to be fair. Boop, boo, boo, doo, boo. Right, let's go back to the Shadow Refuge. I'm glad they put these in because it used to be an absolute nutbuster. Going all the way back. Right, talk to Vaon, talk to Tiki, Nokvi, and Clinter. Cool.
Durin's folk will defy Durin's bane.
Okay, do that.
Khazad-dûm belongs to Durin's folk.
These halls will be great once
fresh
more.
water.
We
Nokvi.
have seen naught of Durin's bane. Be wary if you journey into Moria.
May Durin return
Yeah,
soon to his
that-
halls.
Okay, we gain morale. We lose a bit of crit, but we gain tactical mastery. What about the Ring of the Silenced Horror? Ooh. Now then. Do we switch that out instead with the ring? Or do we go Nameless Slayer's leggings? I mean, you look at that and that's a bigger uplift. Yeah, we're going to go the ring. Ah,
Stand and speak with me.
Shocking.
The fate of Khazad-dûm hangs in the balance.
right, so we're going to switch out Broin's ring. For now. Boink. Oop. 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 So yeah, we've just lost a bit of morale, but hey.
Azog's folk have not yet fully repaid for
I
their
want that,
crimes
what the
against
persuasion.
us.
Ah, see, that's not bad. More armor, it gives me will, whereas I've just been using might. I do again lose vitality and morale. I'm going to lose quite a bit there, so, but let's go with that. Yeah, see, I've lost like 163 morale or whatever it was.
We will reclaim Khazad-dûm for thine
And
Ironfoot.
the bracelets, yeah, see, that's definitely a good increase for the clever bracelet of Mithithel. So let's grab that.
At long last, we will
Ah, see, there's
drag the
Una
maggot
lost
folk
that I've got to
from
go
our
kill that I
halls.
just saw. Cool. So that's brought us up again a little bit. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Shabba. See, I don't think that's actually worth... No, because that's 56. So I'm actually probably going to get rid of these as survivalist stuff. Even though it's an okay set. I mean, in fact, I really should change these out now with the earrings. That earring of knowledge is quite good. Again, I'd lose vitality crit. I'd just gain tactical mastery. Yeah. A bit dubious about that. I might have to try and craft something eventually. What about these two? Are these different? No, I'm going here. I might actually swap that Outriders token out though, because I don't worry about fate. It would actually give me a bit more vitality. I'd lose tactical mitt, but I'd gain a lot of physical mitt and might, but it'd also give me a bit of will. Just for the time being. But I am just going to lock that down so I don't throw it away like an idiot. Because that would be no good. Cool, right. So we need to... Hello. Go back this way. So which one is that one? Freshwater cure. Oh. Wow. Okay. Has this always been here? Because this filled the water skin with the water. I've always gone into the Elven Refuge place over there. Has this well always been here? And I've never noticed it. I get a funny feeling that might have been the case. Let me just turn that. Just turn the lights down. There we go. A bit more moody. Right, okay, so find the Globsnaggers, Orcs, Watersway. Yeah, I just never noticed this here. And what confused me there, Keeps, is that it showed on the map and I thought, why is it showing the Stable Master? And then I realised it changed. But yeah, I've always gone inside. So if anybody knows any different, in fact, I'd have to look through some very old content if I've still got it, to be fair, to see when I've come here if it actually has had this. I'm sure this is new. I just don't remember it. I can't remember what I did yesterday, to be fair, so there's no guarantees I remember where that was. Right, so we need to go down there, and then the Rune Rock all the way over there, but there is that the nameless place as well to get to. So let's trundle over here. Let's not drop off there because that's a very long drop. So if we drop down this side here, that might be good. Let's drop off there. Whee! Splat. Whee! Splat. Great legs. Stand on top of there. Marvellous. Let's head south. Will we survive this, do you think? Oh, let's hope so. Good. We did. Oh, fuck. Right, we're going to have to take him on, aren't we? Wow, there's two of them. And see, there's something wrong here when this happens. There should not be two of them. I'm going to die. There's a bug there. There shouldn't be two of them. Guess that's annoying. I'm going to have to retreat because I can't. I'm going to have both of them again. And that's happened a couple of times where they spawned two. I mean, 7,000 and 7,000, you're essentially taking on somebody that's 14,000. And when they hit you, and then one of you puts you out into another days, you can't compete with it. I hope they fix that because that's very annoying. So I'm going to retreat. See, it's obvious annoying shit like that that puts you right off things because you just think, really? At least give me a chance. Like I say, I don't mind games being a challenge, but when there's something like that, and it's happened before ever since kind of we've been into Moria, so it's been known about a little while. It really shouldn't be happening. Oh, hello, snarling over, is he? In fact, I probably want to go the other way around, don't I? Yeah. So water is down there, and let's just drop off here. Okay, avoid you as well, Andy. Let's get you out of the way. Down here. This could be a little tough fight, actually. I always remember it being a bit of a tough fight because you have the orc and the little goblin at the side of him. the captain, and yeah, there he is. So it could be a fun little job. So let's see if we can take out the captain from here, shall we? Oh, what's that done? Let's give myself a little bit of a heal. Zaza's running around. Marvelous. Yeah. Whenever. I don't mind. Right, so that's that done. We gotta use the rock. That's back there. Let's go on a little wander up here. How did I just run past them? I was like, okay, they're gonna probably chase me, but they didn't attack or anything. I was like, okay, fair enough. Let's keep on running. Right, so we're going to get around there. We know where Uanwiloth. That's a hell of a name to pronounce, isn't it? Uanuiloth. Uanwiloth. Blah, blah, blah. You can see why a lot of people were always a little bit, not perturbed, but we didn't know much about the foundations of stone and all the kind of stuff that was going on down there from the books or anything. There wasn't much information. We didn't really see it. Obviously, we saw Gandalf and the Balrog have their epic battle and falling down to here, essentially. The foundations of the mountain, but it was never kind of extrapolated upon what else was down here. And I think that's why when people saw like the overseers and they were like, that's a bit weird. Looks like something out of, Alien rather than the foundations of stone. Something deeper and darker and more foul. Right. Right. Need a valid target. Right, Uanwiloth, there you are. Time to cook on gas. That one done. Oh. A Fury. Doink. Done. Nice. Something else that's trying to come and have a go at me? Nope. Oh yeah, it must be that Globsnagger spider there. No, not now. Fair enough. Right, so that's done. Bury the fallen dwarves, which are way over there. Is that one there? That's an unacceptable diet, yeah. And then warding runes. That's over there as well. Okay. Right, we'll get on a goat. Let's goat over there. Off we go. I mean, there is a way to swim across, isn't there? what I might do is I might get a bit further around and then swim across. Because we might want to find that little nugget of a place over there as well. Because that's the bridge. There we go. While he's fighting them, let's just dive in the water. So yeah, this is obviously the bridge that is broken. Bridge of Khazad-dûm, which falls to the ground along with Gandalf and the Balrog. Spoiler alert if you've not watched the films. Sorry, not read the books. Sorry. All the way, although I can't really see a hole in the ceiling, but you know, it does, it happens. And then they have the fight for many days up the endless stair, all the way to the top again. We discovered the bridge shard. And then over here should be Gandalf's hat. If I remember correctly, you've got to actually find that for a quest. Yeah, this is the bridge of Khazad-dûm. Can't actually get on the bridge of Khazad-dûm, that's rude. So I think over here somewhere, and I think it's there. I mean, you really wouldn't want to swim in this water, would you? Because you'd be like, what the hell is in it? You know, not only chemical kind of concoction, but things. Yeah, I think I have to get out that side. I don't think I can get him. Yeah, I don't think I can get out on the right-hand side. That's fine. That's fine. Away we go. But yeah, I haven't looked and I don't know when, if it has opened yet, but the LOTRO Discord I think is believed to open up soonish. I don't know. I just don't know. I know they were advertising for moderators, I think in December at some point. You have to agree to sign an NDA and everything, which, you know, is part of the course. You might get told things that, you know... Oh, for flip's sake. An assassin. That Coda of Fury does some good whop. There we go. Right. Now, do we need to be into... We do, don't we? Need to be where all these overseers are. Oh, flip skidoodle. There's a dead dwarf. Good job he's just blind as about that. That could have been painful. Alright, that's down one. So let's head down here. Go, go. Oh, Christ. Interesting little battleground in there with these. Kind of buff each other, don't they? Does he disappear on his own after a certain amount of time? He does. Seems to be stuck. He's good. Because they normally try and move towards you, but neither of them have that I've found to know. Okay, right, let's wallop. Oh, nice crit. Love it. Boink. It's almost like they're stuck. Oh no, he's going back that way. Okay. Because I could have sworn that they used to actually come towards you. Is that him? That's Blind Strider. Okay, he's annoying. Right, where? Dead dwarf over there. And dead dwarf ahead of me as well. Ooh, the Dartmoor Master. Let's avoid him if we can. Ah, shit. Is there two of them? I really don't want to be taken in on. He's 23,000. We sneak to that. Oh, what's that one? The dwarf. Yeah, you can go where. Oh, they are coming towards me, that's them. Right, where? I mean, Rocky must be up here somewhere. Oh. Okay. Now, there's another level, but how the hell do I get up to that level? Do I go? Oh, I think I go along here, don't I? And then round to the left. Oh, hello. Oh, very nice. Okay. Rude. Like, now, can we get up here? If you notice there, the overseer, there was lag, and I think this is kind of quite prevalent to the conversation that people will have, is that they think everything's going to disappear when you're on a 64-bit server. No, because even with the lower latency, you know, I'm 33 milliseconds at the moment, that did all of a sudden just jitter and stutter and then come towards me, and you know, very, very quickly. So, you know, it's not going to cure all the ills. Oop, hello. Oh, where? Here, thank you. Right, here's the room rock. Let's get rid of you. Oh. Nice. Right. Let's press the button and run away. Fuck, really? 23,000? Shit. Okay, that's interesting. It is actually a solo. Nice. This could be fun. Right, let's get that on the go. Yeah, let's give myself a little raise my spirits. Yeah. Nice. Thought that he'd actually buggered off for a little while. Actually helped me quite a bit there. Right, I'm actually going to carry on and trying. I think there is a horse route around here. I think. I hope. Should be very handy to grab while I'm here. Ooh, anyone seen a troll? Here we do. Beep beep for the schmuckers. Yeah, stable master there. Mustering halt. Hello.
The shadow of Mordor will not long fill the halls of Khazad-dûm.
There you. Ow. That's where I've got to deal with the spider now. Nice. Right. So, Ingthor.
We have seen naught of
Okay,
Durin's
defenders of
bane.
fire.
Be wary if you journey into Moria.
And that one's defeated.
Would you do something for me?
Oh, not what I need to do, but hey ho, got stable
Dwarves
master,
must
which is
fight for
good.
dwarves.
What if I can carry on to the endless stair? You kind of got to discover that, haven't you? That's part of the discovery. Is it part of the discovery deed? Yeah, yeah, that's fine. Dunland, Enidworth, Region, Forakel, even dim. Oh, hang on, it's classed as Ravanian in it. Walks in, Forges, Filgashan, Scunfield, Dark Delvins. Is this classed as one? Let's go have a little look. That's Dark Delvins. Cool. Good that we did that. Oh, God. I'm missing one. Oh, road. Foundations of Stone. The Endless Stair. Okay, so that is actually worthwhile and we're going to get while I'm here. Boop. Yep, I'm just going to go start making some food. So, you know, let's go eat it in a little while. Chicken and vegetable stir fry. Oh, sounds all exotic. Noah. With poodles. Get arrested. Oh. Right. Come on, chase me, pole pom. Boop boop. Spider. Boop boop. Yep. Oh, the pole pump just decided to change its direction just at the last minute. It's rude. Whoop. Hello. Yay! There we go. So, I'm actually just going to go up the end of the stair because it's always cool to go all the way up it. Well, as far as you can. Which is always nice. You can see it in various parts of Moria as well. Just love how they put like double stairs in. I still don't get how dwarves made such big stairs when they're going to have such tiny feet. Or legs, rather. I don't get it. Up and up we go. I know we don't have to do this. No. But, yeah. It did it. Because you think, ooh, I wouldn't even get all the way to the top. Well, formally, you might have been able to. However, there's a big bit missing. And that was obviously through either the fall, which probably wasn't actually because that's over there, the fight between Gandalf. I think we actually have to come here for another bit as well because that looks like part of the... Don't we have to come and find these? Things are so confused them on now. Okay, so nearly. Okay, so that gives us 2,000. Yeah. Okay. So that's 28. Cool. Nice. Lots to do. Right, let's go back down the stairs. But yeah, that's a cool view anyway. It really is. You get to see like right across back to where Scumfill and everything is, and then that way is obviously towards the Shadow Refuge. Universal goat travel. Absolutely. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Oh. Endless Star. Hello. A little bit of jittery there. Jittery. 34 gold. Okay. Like I say, this character is not going to be transferring, not until, for any reason, Mordor would close down. But I can't see that happening anytime soon, since we've only just opened up Moria and then go through all that content. So we'll still be playing on here for a long time. Just because of the... Oops. Pull pump. Just because of the different play style. Okay, that is Gwynedd. Thank you very much for the follow. Everything's just going on the go slow, as it does for some reason. Not entirely sure why. But thank you very much for the follow. Much appreciated. Always appreciated when you boys and girls come back and view the content, whatever it is. I know obviously a lot of people just hang around for LOTRO content and stuff like that, but I can't always play LOTRO all the time. Oh, hang on. I need to be over there. Oops. I need to be through here somewhere. Oop. Hello. Come through. Don't mind me. Ow. Knock me off. Nasty man. Right, let's just go straight to you. And then let's quickly...
These halls will be great once more.
Bye-bye. It's weird. Notifications always start off generally cool, and then all of a sudden they just go really slow. It's very strange. If I look at my system, yeah, it's not overloaded. I'm only using like 60% memory. I don't know why it does it. Really don't know why it does it. Okay, right. So talk to Vaon, Tiki, Nokvi, and Clinter again. I mean, if you're playing through this content for, you know, say you're kind of at level 60.
Durin's folk will defy Durin's bane.
Okay, that's actually quite nice. You could just not hand these in and just, you know, use it for whenever the level cap goes up again.
The time has come to drive forth the orcs from our kingdom.
Okay, so more armor, a bit more vitality, lose a bit of will. I'd lose the multiplier. I'd gain crit. I'd gain fate, but I'd lose the tactical mastery. But get a lot more morale. What about Tiki's cloak? No. Okay, we'll get the gloves. I'm not too sure if I'm going to switch to the gloves, to be fair. I really don't know.
Abide here a moment.
Burn the fungal
and speak with me.
structures. Okay.
Dwarves must fight for dwarves. Abide here a moment and
Defeat
speak
Blind
with me.
Strider. It's a bit dubious that, because Blind Strider's like 23k and he's wandering around in there.
Reclaim Khazad-dûm for dying
It tells
Ironfoot.
you so more armor. I lose will. I will gain some morale. I will gain tactical mastery. And I swap finesse for crit. Okay. Sometimes there just isn't the option that you want. Just isn't the option that you want. Right, so. The Blind Strider's back over there. Kill it with fire is fungal structures, which is literally down below us. Don't think I can jump off there without killing myself. I think that might be a bit suicidal. I might be able to get it doing here though. Eee. Let's go that way. Eee. Boink. Nice. Aha. This side. Oh, hello, that was delayed. Wow. that way didn't really have anything that was going to break our fall, whereas this way does. So we'll go this way. Okay, let's whack you. Give you that. See, that is quite nice because it gives you all the resistances for a little while, so let's remember to try and fire that off if we can. Boink. There's one fungal structure. Oh. There'll be another one over there. Boink. Da-da-da-da. Anybody watching any good TV series of late? Anything good that's on your radar and you've been like, oh, I've been waiting to watch that for a while? Anything good? Anything good? Me and Magic have just started watching The Expanse. I know it's leaving Prime very, very soon, and hence why we've been kind of watching it, but we're only about 4 episodes in, I think, something like that. But we'll still carry on watching it even after it leaves Prime. We'll be able to find it somewhere. Some God-only place will have it, I'm sure, for us to carry on watching it. Okay, you're actually watching it, yeah. I've heard good things about it. I've just never got into actually, you know, the time to watch it. So we have been watching House. Magic had never seen that. I watched most episodes before. Oh, I don't know. Really? Did I just get away with that? Oh god, I did. So I wanted to get through that. I mean, there's 8 seasons and 20 plus episodes per season, so that's taken us a little while to do. But no, we got through it. Watched the finale of that, and then we were like switching to The Expanse. So Expanse is quite good. It's quite, I want to say, dark at times, because, you know, some of the things that actually happen, even in like the 4th episode, we were like, oh, didn't see that coming, kind of thing. Or, oh, that's a bit grim. But yeah, it seems like there's been a lot of outcry of it being cancelled. So yeah, we're looking forward to finding out more and watching more of it. We'll see how it all pans out. And ironically, one of the ladies, she's a politician right in the start of the series. I recognised her and I said to Magic, I said, do you know where she's from? And she's like, no, I can't place her. She was actually one of the house's patients. And it was like, yeah, she was in there as one of House's patients, so it was quite ironic that she appeared in the series almost straight away, and I was like, wow. Hang on. But yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying there, Kerr. I can imagine it just gets huger and huger and huger, because obviously now it's all like, who are these people? What are they doing? Why are they doing this? And, you know, there's a whole thing. Oops. Yeah, I think it is Shori, yeah. Because she's the one that had the family friend, because I'm still getting used to all the names, where she, the family friend said, you know, I remember you when you were a child with your father and you were playing cards. Yeah, she's very throaty, yeah. The guy said to her, look, you know, because I'm not going to spoil it, I'm not going to say what happens and why he said this, but he said, you know, and who this person is, he says, you know, that you wanted to be involved, so we let you play, and then you said, oh, we're going to play this game, and, you know, it was to do with a card game. Nobody else knew the rules, and then literally you played your cards and then ran off and said, you've all just got to put your cards down, and then you had to run to this tree, And he says, I don't want to play with you no more because you're just like your father. And that's what got him killed. Because you play to win. And that's it. So you can see there's some depth there already. And I'm going to be very intrigued how that plays out. But no, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Whilst reaching our evening meal, we'll probably watch another episode of it. Although, you know, you kind of got to be careful what you see. Because, you know, we've already seen one decapitation. Which I was like, oh, okay. Luckily, Magic's a bit more squeamish than I am, and I was like, oh, that's not what you want to see when you're having your dinner. But no, it's looking good actually. It is enjoying it. It's almost like, I want to say it's kind of, it's very much in the style of Battlestar Galactica, if anybody remembers the remake of that, which was like from the early 2000s. And then it's kind of almost got like a kind of Game of Thrones feel to it as well. So it's almost like they've mashed them two together, the stylization of the remake of Battlestar Galactica. I remember watching the original Battlestar Galactica as well. 80s cheesy kind of thing, but yeah, the remake with Jamie Bamber and people like that in it.
May Durin return soon to his halls.
Cool.
We have little time to speak. Great events have been set in motion.
Already defeated. Nice. So yeah, there's definite honesty. Yeah, it's cool. Some crossover there in certainly the style, and I think it's just the way that everything is kind of scientifically correct to a degree. I think if you ever watch the remake of Battlestar Galactica, the way that they kind of used inertia and the shooting with kind of ammo rather than like the original, which was all like kind of laser beams and stuff like that. So yeah, I can see how this is very, very similar. The remake of Battlestar is a mean heck of a lot better than the original. Yeah, well, the premise is the same with them fleeing the Cylons, but they keep being near planets where the Vipers can land. But how? Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, the storytelling is totally different, isn't it now? And I think as well, the ability to create fantasy in a kind of more relatable way is easier now. Fantasy was, I mean, you look at the original Star Trek. I mean, I remember watching that over here in the UK. I'm not that old that I remember when that was out originally, but certainly I watched the reruns. And then obviously you're watching like the Next Generation. That's all changed in how that is. Whereas I think even like modern television has changed so much. How things are much more grippier and dark, and kind of a reflection on certain elements of society as well. So I think we're looking forward to it, and then, you know, we'll try and get through it as much as we can on Prime, and then because I think it leaves in about a week. We're definitely not going to get through it all. Right, I need to go kill Zaza, who I've already killed once, which I always find is quite odd, is that I have to go kill him, and then... Hello. Oh, I got stuck. Not this way. Let's get off. And then we... you have to kill him already to deal with the character from before, so that you could put the water in. And you're like, really? I'm going to go back again? But yeah, if you have any suggestions on other TV series, I don't watch too many yeah, we can't get down here. I don't watch too many TV series. I have to be a bit selective in what I watch. But I did always hear good things about The Expanse, so I thought, you know what, we'll see if we can get into it. I thought I would. I wasn't too sure about Magic, to be fair. But she's kind of following along. That's fine. I think the good thing with the remake of Battlestar Galactica, I mean, if you've never seen it, I do apologise. I mean, it is about 20 years now since it was out. I think it was about 2002 to 2004, something like that. Okay. It was a definite kind of head masher because you just never knew who was who. Oh, that's them done. Nice. Let's get on the guts and let's get back to the Shadow Refuge. Let's get out of here. Boop. I might have gone the wrong way here. Oops. Yeah. Skidoodle. Yeah, definitely went the wrong way. Oh, we'll go this way. We'll go this way. I have everything following me. That's fine. Boop. Right, let's get on the goat. Right, let's go back through here. Follow the path. Follow the path. Follow the path along. There we go. We're going the right way now. We're going the right way. Okay, this way. Through here. Then up and round. Well, let's spectre tiki. Tiki. One of the two. Let's go speak to him.
The shadow of Mordor will not long fill the halls
Could
of
be a good hearing
Khazad-dûm.
for us as well. There we go. Right, that's that one done. Right, boys and girls, I'm going to bid you adieu. I'm going to get out of here. I need to go eat some food with Magic because although the lady has made the food, we need to go eat. So we'll probably enjoy an episode of The Expanse. But I hope that was a nice little resume of all the information that we've got for the FAQ at the start. I know there's a lot to take in. If you're a kinship leader, you've probably got more to take in and understand, but that document is definitely worthwhile a read through. It's there for the transfers. If you want to do the transfer, you might not want to. You might not want to move your characters off your existing servers, but that's entirely up to you. But certainly, I'll be moving my characters. This character here on Mordor will be staying, but I will be moving my characters off of Evernight. And whatever pathway that you take, do have a read of that if you're going to transfer, just to make yourself your life a little bit easier when the day comes. Anyway, but we'll reconvene at some other time. I may be back later. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see how long we watch The Expanse for. But if not, I shall see you again soon. I know my streams aren't as frequent as they used to be. As I said, I've got a lot more work on my plate now with my work for Rockfish Games. So, yeah, it takes up more of my time and more streaming for them at the moment. So I've got things to plan. And they pay the bills. But as always, it's an absolute pleasure. We'll finish with the dad joke, just because we can. Where do cats write notes? On scratch paper. Never said they were good. Never said they were good. But I'm going to bid you adieu. Take care, folks. Be good. And we'll see you again very soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.